double check that we are live and running. We are live.
Oh shit, we are live.
We are live. Hello, hello.
Hey everyone.
Hey, everyone. You'll probably be surprised to see that there is no Fazan today. We've kindly decided to take over the stream for the purpose of watching this night's fight. But Fazan, I think, will be tuning in and throwing a bunch of comments through. F there is saying can't wait.
Yes.
Can't wait either. It's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it as well. We will be commentating on the next two fights. So the ones that we're doing are the undercards. Undercards being Hamza Sheeraz versus Ekkow Gurria and Chris Jenkins versus Esssuman. So those are the ones that should, and I think they should be coming up soon. I still need to sign in to the BT to get the stream on. Mo, I assume you've already signed in, have you?
I have signed in, and it's currently the fight before the first fight that we'll be covering,
Cool.
which is the Jenkins Esssuman fight. So that's in round 10 of 10, as I currently saying so. So that will be over soon, and then we'll be starting off with the Hamza Sheeraz Ezekiel Gurria fight.
Perfect. Can't wait. I'm just going to sign into BT right now I think I've got the details. So here we go. I'm looking forward to this. The Towering Inferno. Yeah, I think it's the last time. Right?
Yeah. He's he's definitely someone. In terms of Sheeraz, definitely reminds me of the Towering Inferno. Very tall for a super welterweight. I think he stands at 6'1", which is quite.
So was that heavyweight?
Exactly, yeah, and I wonder what he's who wins Hamza Sheeraz versus Towering Inferno.
Yeah.
Well, that's such a tough one because, I mean, if you look at the OG of who created that concept, so far as my memory is concerned, it's the Towering Inferno. So you'd imagine that he's more powerful than Hamza Sheeraz, but. It will be an interesting fight if these two do meet. I believe Sebastian Fundora is in the super welterweight division, and so their paths may meet one day, and it will be a super interesting fight to see. Given that they're both incredibly tall, and the height advantage will go the other way, because I think the Towering Inferno is much taller than Sheeraz by like. He's like 4 inches taller or something than Sheeraz by like.
Agreed.
Oh, there's an echo right now. I don't know if that's me.
Sheeraz always uses his height advantage, even though he does actually enjoy fighting on the inside, which I find quite strange, considering if he uses sort of Tyson Fury's skill set of staying at a distance and just fighting people a foot shorter than him, he'd always just outbox them and never let anyone touch him. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. And then obviously we've got after those two fight. Just checking BT Sport. Yeah, still going on the previous fight. After that, we got Chris Jenkins versus Ekkow Esssuman, who is I believe Fazan interviewed Ekkow this year.
Yes, he did.
Which is an interesting interview. Do check it out. It is an interesting interview. I found it very enjoyable. He's a very nice guy. Comes across as a really nice guy. So I don't have any favorites, but I think Esssuman should edge it. But we'll see how that fight goes. Either way, it's a very interesting fight. And then obviously, go ahead, Kev.
I was just gonna say, if Esssuman's undefeated record, I do always think they'll have an advantage. The undefeated one want to try hard to keep their record of 0 losses. Jenkins has 3 losses. They haven't been recent, so I think he could pull this off. But I still think that Usman has the advantage there.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you. It's always, it's always telling if you haven't lost any fights yet. It does put you in a better favor, doesn't it? So, but Jenkins has more rounds. in terms of the experience, the number of fights. So it's always interesting, that trade-off between the one that doesn't have any losses versus the guy who's more experienced, has more rounds in it. So, and which in a way is kind of like Gurria, Sheeraz as well, because Sheeraz also is undefeated currently, but Gurria's had, I think, 30 more rounds than Sheeraz overall in terms of his professional boxing record. So that would be a good one. And then obviously the final fight, which is the main fight that will be reviewing, commentating on, is Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam, which would be a very interesting fight as well. How do you think that's going to go, Kev?
You see, this is an interesting one. I think Joe Joyce is very confident after defeating Dubois, but I do just think Joe Joyce is very slow compared to Takam. Takam's quite small for a heavyweight, and if he can get on the inside, use his speed, I think he can beat Joe Joyce. But I don't know. Joe has done well considering how he beat Dubois. He can stay behind the jab like he basically did that whole fight and outbox and maybe knock out Takam. But I would like to say that Carlos Takam has the advantage. He has a bit more experience fighting bigger guys. Like, he fought Joshua. I know he lost to him, but he did really well to survive in there. And even that stoppage was a bit questionable. So I want to say Takam does have a slight advantage in terms of experience, speed, and agility.
No, I agree. I think I'm not sure whether he necessarily has the advantage, in my opinion, but it's certainly an opinion that you can back by what you've said. He certainly has had many more fights than Joe Joyce has. He's been in with Chisora and Joshua and Parker Povetkin, so he's battled against the well-known heavyweights. Whereas Joyce is coming off a victory which in a way was almost like an upset to some people off the back of the Daniel Dubois fight, right? Which was the main contention. The main story after that fight was obviously the fact that people thought that Dubois quit too early. But if this is a really amazing opportunity for Joe Joyce, if he does beat Takam, I believe it puts him in a position where he's mandatory challenger to the winner of Usyk versus AJ, which is a big deal for him, because he's 35 now. He's getting to the age where he's probably at his prime, or maybe potentially past it. 35 is quite an old age in some respects. So this is his time. Like, he needs to make the most of it. He really needs to win against Takam here in order to be able to have those shots at the big boys.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I still think Joe Joyce is sort of in the earlier stages of his career. He's still done well, but I guess the next few fights are going to be his big test. So Joyce has to really win this, and I feel like he does have to win it convincingly. Otherwise, people will raise eyebrows on him. And I think Joe Joyce did actually fight Usyk a long time ago in I think it was the amateurs or something, and he lost to it. But yeah, this is.
I think that's right. I think he's. I have a feeling he's clashed with Usyk before. So yeah, I'm sure he'll probably want some sort of
YouTube of them two fighting, but I don't see it on their record, so I'm not sure if it was like some sort of amateur or Olympic. But I know they fought a long time back, and Usyk outboxed him quite well. Obviously, Joyce has improved. Joyce has improved massively. Was I surprised that Joyce beat Dubois? I was. You know what? Joyce took a lot of big hits from Dubois at the start of that fight, and I thought that would have knocked him out, considering there was a clean shots taken. But I think Dubois just gassed himself out, tried to go for it too early. Then he just couldn't dodge the jabs. That eye swelled up way too much. Do you remember the fight? That eye just looked horrible. It was like, oh.
Yeah. And then people calling him out for quitting too early, I think, was uncalled for, given that he took such a beating overall, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think that fight also showed how strong Joe Joyce's chin is, which is a big factor when it comes to his future fights. You have to factor that in, the fact that he's got such a strong chin. And Takam is, as you said, he's a heavy puncher. He's got experience doing damage to a lot of top heavyweights. He did give AJ a bit of he did give him some trouble at points. So yeah, well, it'll be a very interesting fight, and it can go either way. I have a feeling Joe Joyce has more to benefit from it if he wins compared to Takam.
Yeah. So, and there we pin that. I just asked, do you think the bridgerweight division is going anywhere? So I assume, is this somehow the division between heavyweight and cruiserweight or something, or is this some sort of, I don't know, is this some sort of new weight class? Because I haven't heard of this one. But if so, probably not, as what Ep has said.
Apparently, it's a weight class used by the WBC.
Okay. Yeah.
Supposedly. That's so weird. Wikipedia says something really weird. It says the weight is named after 6-year-old American Bridger Walker, who saved his 4-year-old sister from a stray dog. Do you remember that guy?
I don't know.
Do you remember that? I remember this kid. He was heavily rewarded by various people for his act of bravery looking after his sister, because his sister was being attacked by a dog or something.
Oh, wow.
And he took loads of damage as a result of it. I believe he went to a bunch of places, like I think the UFC gave him like some sort of award, and like some other things happened as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, that isn't the only reason why it's called Bridgerweight. I'm sure he didn't have a say in creating some sort of new weight class. But what's the history behind it? Thanks for raising it to our attention, Adari. I've not actually come across it before, but I'm learning about it now. And I wonder.
91 to 102 kilos, which is kind of heavyweight, or just below heavyweight, isn't it? I think between cruiserweight and heavyweight or something.
Oh, it's between what? What did you say, Kev?
I think it's between cruiserweight or heavyweight. I can't remember. Let me just double check the weight class.
Okay. So the intention decided to create a new division called Bridger, as it is the bridge necessary to serve the large number of boxers who are between 200 and 224 pounds. Okay.
Yes, because cruiserweight is 200 pounds, so 175 to 200 is cruiserweight, and then bridgerweight. So it'd be bridgerweight and then heavyweight. So I reckon some of the light heavyweights, people like Carlos Takam and them all, would probably go under bridgerweight, and then heavyweight is like the bigger heavyweights, like the probably towering guys. Like
I see. Well, I haven't seen much movement on it, and I think part of that might be, I think it's potentially saying something if we haven't actually come across it before. That it probably hasn't gained a lot of notoriety as of late, but it seems to be a very recent introduction, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it. But my personal view is that I'd rather leave things as they are.
Yeah.
But I don't know if, Kev, you think it's useful to introduce an additional weight class by the name of Bridgerweight or not at this stage?
It's interesting, this, but I do think like the heavyweight division, right? Because there's sort of no end point to it. Like you could be well over 200 pounds and still be fighting. Like a classic example, do you remember Dmitry Valuev? He stood at like 7 foot tall. If you look at people like that, it's just like there should be a separate weight class for them sort of people. But then there wouldn't really be many boxers at that kind of weight. So it's hard, it is up for debate in certain situations. When you put like a light heavyweight with a really heavy heavyweight, there could be a huge difference, like an unfair advantage. But that's just because you know there has to be a kind of a top weight division where anything above that weight you can fight. I think it could be helpful, but as long as there's enough boxers in that weight division that are willing to fight, only then it'll be interesting. Otherwise, it'll be a bit pointless.
Yeah, I agree. Unless there's a need for it, and some of the arguments appear to be that there might be a need for it currently, but you know that need might change over time. You know, people always find a way to work around weight classes usually anyway. I think you can create or reduce as much as you want within reason, and people always find a way to cut or bulk or use their height as an advantage and things like that. So I think leave things as they are, and it seems like Adore, PBC and Top Rank should just join forces, team up, makes sense for boxing.
So I'm logging in now, so bear with me while I just get on. And
yeah, sure. Meanwhile, I see F, who I assume might be Fazan, is coming up with some of his thoughts, either about the Bridgerweight division. So he begins by saying only people like Babic, the Savage, who is a small heavyweight but should be fighting at cruiserweight, would benefit from Bridgerweight. Even Wilder could fight at Bridgerweight. Well, Wilder is a subject in and of himself.
All right, here we go. Finally found it.
Yeah, so what I see currently is that the fight's not started yet. A bit of a Joe Joyce appears to be arriving at the Wembley Arena, getting ready. He looks in good spirits right now, as he should be. He's such a calm guy. He's such a relaxed guy in terms of his position, and looks like F has responded, given his thoughts. Adri on PBC and Top Rank joining forces says PBC and Top Rank getting together would be great, but doubt they would unless it's Wilder versus Fury. They can't even make Spence versus Crawford. It's all about that. It's all about the money. Everything's about the money. Wilder v Fury. Yeah, I mean, even that, I don't know if that would be about the money, because I don't think anyone wants to watch it anymore. But
yeah, I'm a bit surprised by that as well, to be honest. So which fight are they on now? Is it the one still before? So this is, I take it this is Burke versus Beach.
Oh, this is unexpected. Which fight? Which fight is this? Let me double check. So the current fight.
I would know, but I think this is Chris Burke versus James Beach.
You might be right. So we still got a bit of time before the fights that we'll be taking a look at begin. But that's fine. We can even take a look at this fight.
Al Heyman and Bob Arum hate each other. Always the promoters hate each other, don't they? Host Manev. So who's? I'm just trying to. Okay, so we've still got two. This fight, one.
So
more
that's
fight.
actually Manev. So
Manev versus Adelaide. There's that one, and then there's one more after this, and then we've got the two undercards. So we've still got 4 fights to go before the final main card.
Oh really? Well, let's enjoy what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, let's just keep watching.
I think let's rate them.
These guys just seem like up and coming people trying to make it big, which is fair. Everyone's got to start somewhere. You can see the crowd, obviously, not like our short rounds. Fazan said, yeah, I think these are 10-round fights. As you can see, the full crowd isn't in the stadium yet, but this is how they all start off, on the undercards, and then they win. They get themselves up on the bigger shots.
It is. It's unfortunate how that works, but that is certainly how things operate at the lower ends of the undercard. But people pay for what they want to watch, I guess. At the end of the day.
So this guy, what his name is, Menev. He does not look like in the greatest of shapes, but
no. And if I had to, notwithstanding people like, Andy Ruiz, who might be an exception to the norm. If I was to make a judgment who's going to win this, I would say it's Adelaide is going to win this.
Yeah, just based on physique.
He looks like based on physique, which is
Everyone judges on.
which is a judgmental approach to watching this fight, but I have a feeling he's probably going to win this. But let's see.
But okay, Manev's still coming in quite forward quickly. He's covered up, but he's coming. He's trying to dip, trying to go on the inside against Adelaide. I think Adelaide's trying to take more of an actual boxing approach rather than going for a knockout, which is probably good for you guys. Rather than you got to get the experience.
It's just like a messy fight. A guy that's gonna rough you up. So it's a good fight to have.
Yeah.
In your career, I'm sure. He seems to be. Well, they both seem to be taking it relatively cautiously for now. I think nice bit of jabbing there.
You know what's interesting is that these up and coming boxers, I don't tend to usually watch these. I usually watch ones that are sort of bigger, a bit more popular. But it's interesting.
So do I.
Especially like if you see someone from their journey, sort of you saw them when they were fighting, not so big names, and they kept winning, and you see them improve, and then you see them at the top. It's actually a lot more interesting when you follow their journey. Some of these guys will probably make it big eventually.
Yeah, I agree. I agree entirely with what you're saying, and I wonder what David Adelaide's record is. I believe his record is currently undefeated, 6 wins, 5 by way of knockout, and is a London lad who lives in Ladbroke Grove. So sounds like a popular fighter to watch. And five knockouts out of his 6 fights. I think this probably won't go the distance then if the statistics continue.
Yeah, I mean, it's only 6 rounds, but we'll see what happens. So Fazan just said that Adelaide has sparred Fury and AJ, which is impressive. I mean, I know it's just sparring, but that must have given him some good experience.
Yeah, and I'm sure they had good things to say about him as well.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't really spar someone unless you did think that it'd be useful.
Yeah.
So it seems like they're still feeling each other out. Adelaide is starting to establish a nice jab.
Oh, big right hand there from Adelaide. Didn't clean him, catch him flush. You see, these guys, of course, they don't want to they want to look good for their future fights, so they do want to try go for a knockout. But it's funny because their trainers are probably telling them just box. It's too risky.
Yeah.
So probably
what a nice was that a hook or over right hand there by Adelaide, which connected.
It looked like a bit of a hook. It like sort of curled in a little bit.
Bit of both, wasn't it? But it hit, and that's what matters. And Adelaide doing a very good job of keeping his distance and making use of range there as well. It seems like Manev's been trying his best to swing, try and get closer to Adelaide, try and make it a bit rough, trying to fight on the inside. But Adelaide is doing a good job keeping away from Manev and establishing his jab. So it's a good first round for Adelaide, I would say. I'd give that to him.
I might give it to Adelaide too. So I'm just searching Manev now, seeing what his record's like. Oh, have you seen his record's not good? Have you seen it? It's only 3 wins and 9 losses.
It sounds like, without being disrespectful to Manev, because boxing is a brutal sport and you have to be courageous to go through it all. It sounds like that he's a tune-up fight for Adelaide here, just to get the numbers up, in terms of, adding an extra win to his resume. I mean, I'm sure he's gonna win. I'd be very very confused if he doesn't win this fight.
Look, Manev's just covering up now. He's not throwing a lot. He's about 10 punches he's taking. He's trying to go for it almost, get on the inside, go for it, but I don't think it's gonna work. Adelaide just covers and grabs him, locks him in.
Nice bit of peekaboo from Manev in a way, right? I'm sure there's a peekaboo stance there, and he's just waiting to let those hands go. But Adelaide is making some work on making his gloves hit the body of Manev there, or tying up Manev as well. Adelaide, he knows not to get caught up into any dirty inside type fighting. I see some blood already.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He's already taken a few clean hits.
Another clean hit. I believe that was an uppercut, lands it onto Manev there by Adelaide, and I think it's Manev who's bleeding. I'm not sure if you think otherwise.
I like the blow to blow comms. We're like commentating every single punch that gets thrown. You know, for the people that can't watch this, aren't watching this, we're trying to make it as visual as possible for you guys.
Of course, we're trying to paint it for you.
Literally,
so you're almost there. You're almost there. Just close your eyes and listen to the commentary, and you see them fighting in front of you.
Next step would be for us to get up and like actually imitate the boxers almost.
Oh, nice uppercuts. Or Adelaide, some vicious punches thrown there. He's doing a good job. He's shown a very good jab.
Oh, big right hand there.
Nice distancing. I've seen some nice overhands. Nice uppercuts. He's showing his whole arsenal there in terms of different types of punches we can see from him. A lot of them are all landing, so he's doing a very good job.
Yeah, Manev looks a bit tired already. You can see
he does. He's definitely wrapped up a lot, hasn't he, Kev? He
looked like he tried to go for it quite early in that first round, but it didn't work out. Now he just looks like he's going to cover up for the next 4 rounds.
Yeah, he's certainly doing a lot of peekaboo stance and just taking a lot of punishment right now. It's a bit difficult for him, I would imagine. I mean, his best shot is probably to get as close as possible and try and fight on the inside, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But Adelaide is too good of a boxer, and he's too cute for it. He's a bit of a looks like there was a punch on the back of the head there.
It's like walking, like leaning backwards, tired already.
Yeah.
Mouth open. That's the sign straight away. You can see the exhaustion.
Certainly, Kev. You can see the difference between these two fighters. It's very clear. So it's either a matter of time before Manev unfortunately hits the canvas, or he'll manage to battle it out the whole remainder of these 6 rounds in terms of the fight, and Adelaide will win on points at this stage. So second round over, I believe that was, or was it the third round? I think it was second round.
The fourth round.
Yeah, and I'd give that to Adelaide again. Would you, Kev?
I think the referee's going to just step in on this one pretty shortly, especially if the fact that Manev's already bleeding, looks already tired.
That's a good point. If you think your man is tired, then you should just step your foot on the gas and finish him off.
Yeah. I do think with these sort of not so experienced boxers, the referees might step in a bit early, considering that, look, you know, these guys aren't experienced of taking hits, so they can get hurt really badly if they keep going. Any small sign of fatigue, they'll probably just step in. And I think the referee's going to jump in the next couple of rounds.
Yeah, how do you guys think the fight's going in the chat? Do you know much about Adelaide or Manev? What do you think of Adelaide? Do you think he's doing quite well? Do you think he's got a bright future in boxing? Of course, I know a lot of people here for the main fight and maybe some of the undercards, but this is quite an interesting fight so far. It's good to see Adelaide because we might see him on a larger, closer to the top undercard and maybe as a main in the future.
Manev just pushed against the ropes there, just trying to cover up, trying to clench. Look at that. All the signs are there. It's only a matter of time now.
Yeah, Adelaide is still, I think, proceeding with caution, which shows a good deal of maturity. Still boxing his way through it. He's not trying to throw any wild punches. Just testing. Quite a few feints there from Adelaide, throwing in some soft punches mixed in with some harder shots.
Oh, Adelaide seems like he is going for it, throwing in the hooks now. What's interesting about... Oh, it almost fell into the ropes there. I think Manev was trying to use a bit of momentum to push him away. So what's interesting about these boxers is that even though they sort of, they spar a lot, when they're in the ring, they don't realize how much stamina it takes when you're throwing big punches. And a lot of these guys get gassed out quickly because they're not used to going far distances so much. Oh, that was a wobble there, but Manev. There, his legs wobbled.
Thrown into the ropes there. I don't know if I don't know what number you're on in terms of the minute. I might be behind you. I've got 107, 106.
I'm a little bit ahead.
Okay. Let me.
I can pause. Wait, I can pause for a few seconds.
No. I think you stay on the most recent one. I might actually quickly refresh. You can let the viewers know what's going on right now, while I try and refresh.
Oh, also, things are heating up in this round. 14 seconds to go, but Manev's taking a lot more punishment from Adeleye. I think he's going to survive this round, but I think the next round he's going to go. About 10 seconds left. He's just covering up, taking a few more hits, and there we go. The bell, saved by the bell. Adeleye looks okay. He looks like he's going to finish him off in the next round.
Yeah, you feel it coming.
Yeah, I think Manev's corner are probably talking to him, saying, "Do you still want to continue?" Like, it's a tough sport, but this is the way it goes.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm back on. I'm now looking at Adeleye getting towelled by his cut man.
yes, I'm getting that as well. He's getting the he's
getting the spa treatment from the cut man. He's looking good. Doesn't look too tired, does he?
I like to call it the surgery, the quick surgery.
F says Adeleye has power, but sometimes is impatient. But looks like he's being more measured. I agree. Would have liked to have seen him rematch his last opponent, Sokolowski, who a lot of people thought he'd lost to.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of his fights, but
interesting.
He's still well, okay. The fourth round started, and if I'm being honest, I think this might be the last round of the fight.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's see if Kev's prediction comes true. A few jabs thrown by Adeleye, just getting a feel.
You look wobbly.
Yeah, I think Adelaye's looking for an opening. Straight down the middle, nice jab there by Adeleye. Just trying to break Manev's peekaboo defensive guard.
Yeah. Missed it, Kev. I think it's because of my predictions. Oh no, I think that's.
Oh my. Okay. Oh my God, Manev kind of stopped there. Adeleye is absolutely swarming him. I'm not sure what happened there because Manev decided to step back and stop for a bit.
No, Adeleye is going for it. Oh,
Adeleye is absolutely going for it, hard swinging hooks. Manev is still staying up though. Still staying up. It's still not entirely sure what happened before that.
Oh, he's down. He's on the floor.
Oh yeah, I've seen that now as well. Falling on his back into the ropes, and he's been given the count currently by the ref. He's managed to get up. Looks like Manev is ready for round 2 of the beating. 1 minute left.
See, as long as he's punching back, they can't stop it. But look, Manev just looks absolutely gone. Yeah, that's it. It's over. It's over.
It's all over. It's all over. The referee has ended the fight. I feel like Manev was showing signs of something before that barrage came from Adeleye. It was a bit strange. He kind of stopped midway, standing, and then the referee kind of urged Adeleye to continue, which is a bit strange. But it looks like he took a lot of punishment there, Manev. Kev did predict it, and so I'm putting back Mystic Kev on the stream. So Kev was right. That's it. Was that fourth round, Kev?
Yeah, fourth round. It was about 1 minute to go in that fourth round.
Fourth round, TKO.
And he still looks fine. Look at him.
Yeah, he looks fine. Looks like he could do several more rounds. From what F was saying before, that potentially Adeleye, according to some, may have lost the fight against Sokolowski. I'm sure Sokolowski was a much harder opponent than Manev, because I think Manev certainly didn't pose much of a threat to Adeleye in this fight. Certainly not. Very much a one-sided fight.
Just gonna put that there for the banner, just in case people are tuning in now. Adeleye beats Manev.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, look at that!
Oh, the uppercut was vicious, vicious uppercut that finished the fight there.
Big body shots, yeah.
A lot of body shots. So you're right. Yeah. I'm still, I think, a few seconds, but behind you, Kev. But that's fine. I don't think I can fix it currently.
So I can pause for a few, so we're in sync. I think for the main event, I think we should try to be in sync, just in case there's a big knockout.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. So currently it's just showing crowd gassing for their boy Adeleye, I would imagine. And then back to Adeleye right now. But I'll let you know at the minute mark where I am for the next fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like it just refreshed on its own.
F said it's a pad you're recorded. Good stuff. I'm just going to quickly grab my charger. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for those who have just tuned in, welcome to the stream. We've just seen Adeleye v Manev, one of the earlier fights of this main fight, which is Takam Joyce. We're still in the process of going through a number of other fights before we get to Takam Joyce, but please do stick around because there's quite a few interesting fights.
F says love your undercard. Boys. No worries, F. We're keeping it going for you.
Thank you, F, whoever you are. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. But no, that was a good fight. I'd like to see Adeleye more. I'd like to see him be challenged by someone else. I think Manev wasn't a very difficult fight. I think we both predicted that at the beginning of the fight. It seemed like an easy win for him, and it ended up being an easy win from him. But it'd be interesting to see Adeleye go up the gears and fight people who are more difficult, that can really test him. But it's a good win to have on the resume, and I'm sure add to his his general stock amongst other fighters in the division.
I do agree with F's comment about Adeleye does have power, but looks a bit impatient at times. I feel like this fight, what he did today, it worked well against his opponent, but in certain other cases, somebody who had to counter punch, he could have got caught quite badly. And
yeah.
But look at this replay where he's just going for it. So he just has his hands open. It's still good that he did it, but having his hands open like that could.
I see something happened there. I think Manev, his eye was. Something happened to his eye, and he stopped.
Maybe, yeah.
He seemed to be touching something. I don't know what. It looked like his eye or his nose or something. He just needed a break, but he didn't realize he was still in a fight.
Yeah, I don't think it worked.
Adeleye swarmed him.
Unless his mouth guard flew out, there's nothing. You can't really just stop like that.
Yeah, and I didn't see that happen. So I think that was the beginning of the end for Manev. Sorry, Kev. I'll be 1 minute. Just
it's all right, mate. Yeah, take your time.
Cool, cheers.
Okay, so the commentators are just talking about the fight now, talking about potential next steps for Adeleye. It could be interesting to see who he fights next, who he goes across. This is a big step up for him. But yeah, as F said, that his last fight was a tough one, so that those things sort of affect him. People look at that and think, okay, should he really be in the top of the heavyweight division, or should he be, still fighting previous opponents? Let's see. So, up next, we're going to have Chris Burke versus James Beach. Now, I don't know too much about these fighters, but let's have a little research and see what they're like. Okay, so the next fight is going to be James Beach versus Chris Burke. Now, although I haven't watched these guys' previous fights, so James Beach has a record of 12 wins with 2 KOs and 2 losses, whereas Chris Burke has 10 wins with 6 KOs. So Burke already has a much stronger record based on their previous fights. But of course, we'll see what happens here today. Sorry, Mo, I didn't notice you just came back, so I was just telling them about the next
fine.
fight. The next
James
fight.
Beach versus Chris Burke, I believe you said.
Yeah, I was just saying to them. So Burke has an undefeated record, 10 wins, 6 KOs, which is actually very strong for his first 10 fights.
Yeah.
Beach isn't bad. He's had 12 wins with 2 KOs, but he has had 2 losses, which could affect him. But
on the stats alone, Burke is probably the favorite. Given that he hasn't had any losses, is that right? I guess, and then six KOs, so more than 50% of his wins came by way of KO.
He's a southpaw as well.
Oh, is he? Okay. Which division is this?
That's a good question, actually. So
are they both British as well?
They're both British. I'm not sure what weight class this is actually. Let's
have a quick look at BoxRec to see. Oh, that's how you spell book.
Oh, super bantam. That's it. So that's
super bantamweight. Okay.
Isn't that like just under 60 kilos or something?
Yeah, but it's something like that.
It's the light. These guys are he's only 5'4". That's quite short. That's like
Yeah, so it's the lower weight divisions.
Yeah, this is under 60. These are like the quite slim guys. That's like under. I think it's like an under Amir Khan sort of weight class.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Chris Burke is the second best super bantamweight fighter in the UK, according to BoxRec stats. So yeah, he looks like the favorite. But we'll see. Anything can happen in boxing.
Yeah, anything can happen. I feel like with these lower weight classes, it's less likely to end in a KO because you can't get those really powerful hits. But it is a lot more to do with speed and agility and like actual boxing skill.
Yeah, that may be the case. I mean, when I hear super bantamweight, or featherweight, for example, or the lower weight divisions, there's mainly one guy that springs to mind historically who was a hard hitter, which was Prince Nassim. Because Prince Nassim Hamid was he was one of the lower weight divisions. He was also quite short.
So F just asked, what do you think of his potential? How far can he go? I mean, to be honest, I haven't actually watched any of these two guys' fights yet. I don't know.
He might have been referring to Adelaide at the time because I think that's a message that F sent a bit earlier. But yeah, what do you think of Adelaide?
In terms of his general career, I think he can go far, but he definitely still has some improvement to do. Based on what I saw today, there were some things that he did that just, like, as I said, wouldn't be able to work against some of the tougher guys, such as guys that know how to counter punch. If you're going to punch and leave yourself open, that's really dangerous. Yeah, he did mean Adelaide. I just think he needs to still work on his boxing, still not just go for it aimlessly and actually box a little bit. Maybe work on his stamina a bit as well, because if you're it was a 6-round fight, right? So he's probably not used to doing 12 rounds. So if that's the case, I mean, if he's going up against people who have been constantly doing 12 rounds, when you get to like 7, 8, 9 rounds, you're just going to be exhausted, gassed out, you might get knocked out. So I think he needs the experience of going 12 rounds with somebody, maybe not too difficult, and work his way from there. But he does have potential for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And F says that this will be volume punching in terms of the super bantamweight fight, which echoes what you said, Kev.
Yeah, just punching after punching. Here you can see Joe Joyce getting his gloves wrapped up. I don't know how far back you are.
Oh yeah, I just saw it now, so maybe two, 3
seconds behind.
Yeah.
Pause for a few seconds, but yeah, he looks very relaxed.
As always, looks nice and relaxed.
Mm.
And it's nice that Joyce and Takam have respect for each other as well. There's no bad blood in this fight. It's quite a respectful relationship between those two. There was a bit of I guess you could say banter about the sparring incident, because I believe Joyce was planning on sparring Takam, but then Takam had to cancel, and there's a bit of banter on that for the purposes of trying to sell the fight a bit more. But yeah, I mean, in reality, they've both been very respectful to each other, so it's been interesting to see.
Okay, so they're both in their corners.
Yeah.
Beach.
1 second, I'll be 2 minutes again.
Yeah, and Chris Burke. Oh, actually, I think I watched this face-off, actually. All 3 British judges. I mean, they're both British boxers, so I think that's fair. Chris Burke just getting the Vaseline on.
Hey, I'm back. Wait a minute. Is this Esssuman?
I'm not even sure, because this is Chris Jenkins.
This is Jenkins Esssuman, so I feel like they've... what happened to the other fight then?
So
it doesn't...
Yeah, because I'm reading this from Evening Standard. I think they've got this wrong. This is Jenkins versus Esssuman, yeah.
Okay then. So this is a big fight.
But then
in terms of one of the ones that we were going to watch.
Yeah, that maybe have already happened. I'm a bit confused, but yeah, this is okay. So this is Jenkins versus Esssuman, then probably next is Sheeraz versus Gurria, I assume.
Yeah, that must be it. So we must be just a few fights away. So anyway, we started the fight now between Jenkins and Esssuman, which is super welter. Sorry, no, it is it's a welterweight fight, of course. So I guess while these fighters are still feeling each other out, although they are actually seem to already be picking up the pace for round 1, to be honest. They're both throwing some very good jabs to feel each other out. The pace certainly feels quite fast for round 1 currently. But while they start the first round, we might as well mention a few things about them both. Esssuman, who's in the kind of purple-black shorts, he's previously European champion. So interestingly, this isn't a European It's a European fight. I believe it's a British. It's a British fight, but he's already been European champion. He's had 14 fights. He's won all of them. He's undefeated. And then we've got Jenkins, who's had 22 wins, 3 losses, 3 draws. But his last loss was in 2018, so it's been a while since he's lost. I think he's drawn a few recently. So both quite good fights, a really good matchup right now, and they are both fighting at quite a high intensity currently. Just feeling each other out, fast jabs from both of them, and a few combinations thrown in as well.
Yeah, I think I'd like to say Esssuman has the advantage here of obviously an undefeated record, just what you always say, but anything can happen. So, as Ed said, it's very much volume fighting. It's like one person throws a punch, next person counter punches. It's all based on speed and agility as well here, rather than trying to go for a knockout.
Yeah, certainly. I think welterweight is such an interesting division as well to watch, and there's been so many interesting fighters in the welterweight division over the years. I mean, one of course, well-known one being Floyd Money May, who brought a lot of attention to that division. Esssuman was interviewed by Fazan at Quality Shot this year as well. Interesting interview. Do check it out if you haven't already after the fight. And I believe Esssuman, when he was asked by Fazan, what's going to happen when you fight Chris Jenkins, he said, ultimate savagery in response.
That's good.
So let's see if there'll be ultimate savagery. Round 1 ends. Just feeling each other out. I don't think either of them really had any significant advantages. Just give it a 10-10 round. What do you think, Kev?
Yeah, I think it's very even so far. I don't think Esssuman did throw a few more punches there, but it's hard to say this early. I think the start of these fights tend to always be pretty even, but one person always tends to tire out a bit earlier than somebody else. I'd say it's a pretty even fight. Maybe 10-9 to Esssuman.
Okay. F says was supposed to fight Jenkins around a year ago, but fell through. So yeah, typical COVID and other issues prevented this fight from happening. But they were scheduled to fight for a while, so they must both be relieved that it's finally happening.
Yeah. And just look at the speed of these punches as well. And the small gloves, I don't know how many ounces they are, but they're not big ones, so they must hurt. Like stinging punches, these ones.
Yeah, nice sharp jabs by Esssuman there.
Give me a blow-to-blow comments by F there. Now, you know what? You cannot do it with this division. There's too many punches being thrown.
Yeah, I mean...
heavyweights, where it's one punch and then a pause. It's just like repetitive.
Yeah, a lot of pecking from each other, basically, if I was to describe everything. They're pecking each other out. So far, I haven't seen any kind of uppercuts or, any other types of punches other than mostly jabs right now. They're just jabbing each other out, getting a feel probably still. But they're fast. They're fighting at a very fast pace.
Oh, yeah. Big right hand there by Esssuman. So, still very easy. And I think they're both just sort of trying to eye each other up, trying to get a judging of distance.
Yeah.
Jenkins has a slight height and reach advantage, but that doesn't seem to affect Esssuman. He's still getting on the inside, just trying to time him well, get the distance right.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that? Looked like an overhand type of right from Esssuman, which connected. It was quite an interesting punch there. He didn't proceed with anything. It kind of just came out of nowhere, and then he kind of fell back away after landing that. Esssuman's definitely connecting more currently from what I'm seeing.
So Esssuman has this, is on the center ring. I think Jenkins seems to be on the back foot, circling.
Yeah. And oh, nice. The nice body shot by Esssuman. He's certainly starting to turn his jabs into a few more kind of combinations, mixing it up.
Yeah.
Or another right body shot coming from Esssuman there. Haven't really seen anything from Jenkins at this stage in terms of damage.
Yeah. Jenkins is thrown, but I think Esssuman just thrown a couple more for every like 1 or 2 hits. Esssuman throws. I think Jenkins just tries to get one in there.
Yeah, overhand right from Esssuman there. A flurry of punches from both of them. I don't think any of them really caused much trouble at all. A lot of them deflected and parried away, and round 2 ends just like that. I think Esssuman is starting to come forward a bit more and to land a few more of those eye-catching punches so far. I haven't seen very much from Jenkins, but it's still early days. Round 2 having just ended, so we'll see what Jenkins produces. Because if the fight continues at this stage, then Jenkins is going to have to show something at some point. So let's see what's going to happen for round 3. They both look quite calm still. They don't look tired.
Yeah, still got quite a few rounds to go. I think they always have to condition themselves to go those sort of distances.
Mm-hmm.
The comms. I hope that's not sarcasm from F saying the comms from this round from both of you. From F, we try.
It is fire, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Everything you can see what's going on just from listening to us. This is
Yeah,
this is what you get at Quality Shot, quality content, quality live streams. Subscribe, like, comment, engage with us. We love it. So round 3 has started, and I see Jenkins trying a few more combinations, trying to come forward. Perhaps his corner told him he needs to start working a bit more. Maybe they could see that Esssuman was starting to land, and Jenkins still hadn't kind of gotten off the mark per se. But you can see there's a bit more energy from Jenkins right now. Do you see that, Kev, as well?
Yeah, I think Jenkins is up the pace a little bit. I don't think his corner told him to up it a bit. But let's hope this doesn't play into his stamina, of course. But he's definitely pushed himself a bit more. He's look at him just trying to dip and trying to get on the inside. He landed a good few punches there. So yeah, he's definitely up the pace. But all Jenkins is still getting caught by a couple of big shots by Esssuman as well. It's always a bit of a risk.
Yeah, certainly nice bit of slip in there from Esssuman. Esssuman coming forward still seems to be the more aggressive of the two.
And this must be hard for the judges to score this, because with the amount of punches that are thrown as well, it's hard to keep up on exactly who threw the more punches. So we're like sharp, quick punches, just a volume, as F said.
Yeah, certainly. And I'm sure the judges are looking very closely to see whether any of those punches are really, kind of point-scoring punches.
Let's go left hook there by Jenkins.
I agree, yeah. So starting to see a bit more of a fight back from Jenkins in this 3rd round. And only about 35 or so seconds left.
They both look really good still. They don't look too hurt, too tired.
Yeah, and I think that's a sign of quality of both the fighters having previously won different titles respectively, and having good records on each of their resume. This is certainly a good welterweight fight to be watching.
So Joe Cleller just said that he thinks that Jenkins is going to win this. So he said, what is it, rounds 5 or 6, Ekkow will be knocked down.
Okay, Joey.
Interesting prediction.
Thank you for your comment. We'll keep that in mind as the rounds progress. So round 3 has ended. Moving on to round 4, I definitely think Jenkins is starting to show a bit more energy there. He's definitely landed a few good shots. I think rounds 1 and 2, Esssuman looked the stronger of the two, but let's see if this is the beginning of Jenkins starting to come back into the fight properly now that both of the fighters have fully warmed up.
There's a bit of swelling on his Jenkins' right eye, so that could play up on him a little bit, that bruising.
I've just seen that as well. I see his cut man is starting to apply some Vaseline there. There's a bit of bruising, isn't there? No, I don't see any. I don't see any blood or anything, but it looks like there is a bit of bruising. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so standard.
Yeah, it's quite. I think it's quite minor at this stage, but maybe Esssuman will try to capitalize on that. So we just start round 4 now of 12. Esssuman versus Jenkins.
That Jenkins nearly went down there. He just got wobbled a little bit. It's taken quite a few punches from Esssuman.
Jenkins landed a nice body shot there, I found. He's currently in the corner though. Esssuman has backed him into a corner. Is starting to land some. Oh my goodness! Jenkins has started to wobble there. And Esssuman is absolutely swarming Jenkins right now with a number of hooks. It looks like Jenkins has gotten back on his feet and composed himself.
Yeah.
But unless I'm mistaken, Kev, it looked like Jenkins took a bit of a wobble.
Yeah, he did wobble a little bit. He got thrown into the. He took a few hits against the ropes there, and then I think Esssuman saw that and he tried to go for it a little bit, but it didn't really put him away. And now they're back in the game as normal.
Back in the game as normal, yeah.
Himself out a little bit from that barrage of punches, as it looks like, because now he's slowed the pace down a lot. It's the risk you have to be careful if you want to try go for it. You have to hopefully go for it, because otherwise you just gas yourself out, risk getting yourself knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like Esssuman has decided to resign to the idea of carrying on with the rest of the round without searching for blood here. But he's certainly adding some power punches into his combinations right now. And it is certainly the case that Jenkins was wobbled after saying ultimate savagery. You have to remember that's what Esssuman told Fazan in his interview with Fazan, what to expect in this fight. Ultimate savagery. Oh, a few wild shots thrown there by Esssuman, but you can give it to him given what he's done so far. Looks like he's going to comfortably take this round, so perhaps he's happy to take the round rather than go for the knockout now that it appears Jenkins has regained a bit of composure from what happened. He did eat a few uppercuts there though, didn't he?
Yeah. Based on that one was definitely Esssuman's round, but wasn't able to go for it. Maybe I'll go for it next round after a bit of a breather.
Yeah. Certainly looking sharp, Esssuman right now, but we'll see. Joe did say win for Jenkins round 5 or 6. So maybe Joe knows something here. So let's see.
Yeah, see if he can land in flush. I'm still not seeing blood. I'm not sure if anyone's bleeding yet, but Esssuman does actually look a bit tired as well. Looks a bit fatigued. Jenkins, red corner.
There is the end of round 4. Very good round for Esssuman. So they might show some of the highlights, hopefully on BT, which is where we're currently watching. They might show some of the highlights of what had happened there, but perhaps not. I'd like to see the highlights if BT will show it of Jenkins being wobbled to see what it was that did it to him there. But it appears it resulted from Jenkins being forced into the corner by Esssuman and Esssuman unloading a barrage of punches at him.
Yeah,
and a number of them appeared to connect and wobble Jenkins. But let's see if that wobble was just a minor blip in this fight, or whether it's gonna cause issues later on for Jenkins. Round 5.
Here we go. Jenkins starts strong with the jab there, but Esssuman looking to counter as much as possible. both orthodox fighters, both standing in quite closely. They're just eyeing up distance now. I think they don't want to go for it too much because of what happened in the last round.
Jab from Esssuman there. So just a lot of parrying going on, just feeling each other out. Probably waiting for counters. A lot of back and forth parrying here.
Yeah, agreed.
It looks like the pace has been taken off so far.
Yeah.
This is the one of 2 rounds that Joe had predicted that Jenkins would win in by way of knockout. So let's see. Still not too much, right, Kev? I mean, it's definitely a slower. They're definitely fighting at a slower speed compared to the previous round.
They're not going for it like they did in the previous round. Absolutely, yeah. They both know that.
A nice hard left there by Jenkins. It looks like Esssuman's trying to force Jenkins into the corner again. He's certainly walking him down. Body shot there by Esssuman.
Felt like more of a feed-up one this round compared to the last one.
Yeah, maybe that both fighters are happy to just allow their energy to not be wasted on this one. There's certainly a lot of kind of, I wouldn't call it pot shotting, but there's a lot of back and forth parrying and then a few punches, kind of power punches being thrown right now.
Yeah.
And there, Jenkins looks like he might be forced into a corner again.
So yeah, looks like they're trying to go for it at the end of the round, but they're probably going to save it for the next one. It's about 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, I got 20 seconds to go.
Let's see if Joe Cleller was still right about round 5 or 6 for Ekkow to go down.
It looks like it's going to be round 6 at this stage, as this round has ended now on
I don't
my
see
side.
Ekkow going down, if I'm being honest, or not anytime soon at least.
Yeah. It was a good, I mean, it was a 10-10 round probably. I didn't see anyone being particularly better than the other in that round there. I think reflecting on this, I think Jenkins is certainly not a bad fighter, despite the fact that I think Esssuman is currently winning this.
That's the thing. One of the judges actually has Jenkins up, so 3 10-9 rounds to Jenkins, 2 10 rounds to Esssuman. But that's just one of them.
Oh, weird. Okay, Ben's scorecard is 48-48. I wouldn't have it like that. I would put, personally, I'd have Esssuman up by 2.
Guys watching this live, let us know in the comments what you guys think.
Let us know. We might be completely wrong, and you might have a reason to believe that, you know, even Jenkins is currently winning. But let us know what you think.
Oh, Jenkins looked like he took a big left hook there. Hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, I think Esssuman continues to walk Jenkins down. This is the second and final round that Joe had predicted Esssuman would go down in. So let's see. Oh, okay. Overhand right by Esssuman that I think was blocked by Jenkins. You can see Esssuman's starting to throw a lot more kind of power punches. We're starting to get into that stage of the fight where there's less jabs now and more setting up. counter punches, power punches being thrown. That can leave a fight to end in a surprising way. Just covering up there, Jenkins. Nice jabs landed there by Jenkins on Esssuman there. What do you think, Kev? Do you think this is going to go to points at this stage?
I feel like they're upping the pace a little bit now in this round, so it might end in a stoppage earlier. But they both look very much like they can eat each other's punches, so it might go the distance. It's very hard to tell now.
Yeah, they look well conditioned.
But if somebody's going to get knocked out, I wouldn't know who either of them could get knocked out at this stage because they're both landing big shots.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, the whole fight, Esssuman's been walking Jenkins down, so he's definitely... I assume if it goes to points, the judges will likely see him as the aggressor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or both trading blows there. Neither of them really coming out as the better of the two at this stage. See, Essman's guard is lower than Jenkins usually, which is interesting. There is the end of round number 6.
You see Jenkins being spoken to by his corner, giving him his advice, telling them what to do.
Yeah.
Well, when you watch that replay back, there was a good right hand by Jenkins, but then Esssuman looks like he always counters quite well.
Oh yeah, I'm just seeing a replay now. Yeah, I'm seeing Essman's corner right now on my screen. And I believe the 7th round is about to start shortly. And it's away again. Essman continues to walk Jenkins down, but
yeah,
it looks like Jenkins is maybe holding his ground a bit more. He's starting to circle around instead of going backwards, which is different. He's pivoting more.
Oh, Esssuman looks like he's going to go for it now. He's throwing some big hits. Like he's just swinging now. I know you're a few seconds behind, Mo, but you'll see him swinging some big hits very shortly.
Oh yeah, just saw right there, and yeah, he's definitely swinging a lot. Oh, okay, overhand right, left hook, right hook. Some of them wildly missing. Another overhand right. Another overhand right was just blocked by Jenkins' gloves there, I saw. A lot of energy being exerted by Esssuman here.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how far his stamina will take him. Remember, if you're gassed out and you're still taking punches, it's easy to get knocked out, even if you're okay.
Yeah, there's still five rounds of this. Who knows? Maybe Jenkins' tactic is to wait until the later rounds. Yeah,
possibly. Yeah,
we'll have to see. But Essman's likely to have in his mind, remembering the fact that he managed to wobble Jenkins earlier, and maybe he thinks there's still something about that. So he's definitely testing him. Got Seth Rotal One says, "What y'all saying about the main event?" I say Joyce will get chin checked in the first for sure. It's iron though; he should be fine.
So chin check. Well, I think he got chin checked in the Dubois fight, didn't he? Dubois threw some big hits at him in the early few rounds. Took him quite well.
Joe Joyce, that guy's chin is mad. His chin is absolutely nuts.
I have no doubts about his chin, but it's a question of will he be able to do what he did to Dubois again, like stay behind the jab. I think Takam is actually quite short as well. He's a bit shorter than Dubois, so he's got a big height advantage.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Joyce's chin is going to definitely be an advantage to him, but he still needs to win the fight. He can take it. It just means I think that he probably has less of a chance of being knocked out, I would assume, compared to an average heavyweight fighter. But he still needs to show his talent, and I'm sure he's got that talent. But as you were saying, Kev, Takam does seem to have a lot of speed. So we'll see. Joe Joyce is a bit of a slower fighter in terms of how he throws his punches, but he does carry a lot of power behind them, as was shown by the Dubois fight previously.
So somebody said Francis Ngannou with boxing would be great. You know what? I think that would be interesting for him to be in boxing because I think he's one of the strongest power punchers out there in boxing and in MMA. He's very powerful, and I think you'd be interested to see him in the heavyweight division actually. But I don't know, going from MMA to boxing is strange, isn't it? Because you're used to doing other stuff than punching, like grappling, kicking, and then you feel just so limited to only punching. Jeffro just said Takam will win in a decision. Potentially, yeah. I mean, Takam has got the experience of going the distance in a few of his fights, so that's definitely a fair point to make. And it looks like
so round 8 of Esssuman Jenkins right now.
For it a little bit, he's throwing quite a few punches. Esssuman's gonna.
I'm seeing what you're seeing now. Esssuman is definitely connected with a bunch of hooks, and he's going for it right now.
Yeah, he's going for it.
I think he's going hell for leather. He wants to get Jenkins out right now. He is connecting a lot, and the referee has stepped in and ended the fight and called off the fight.
And Esssuman won by technical knockout. Wow.
Round number 8, I believe, Kev?
Yes, I think it was actually.
Round 8 TKO.
That was like all of a sudden knockout as well.
Jenkins. Barrage of punches in bunches, and the referee saw how many were connected and decided, let's end this fight.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder how much protest there was from the Jenkins corner there and whether they thought he could have gone on a bit longer, but I don't see any protest right now. So perhaps I
don't see a protest. I do feel like he just threw a barrage of punches and Jenkins was forced to cover up. I do still feel like Jenkins was okay, but obviously he just took a barrage of punches and there's nothing he could do, so it had to get stopped.
Yeah.
Jenkins wasn't, like you see the replay, Jenkins wasn't really throwing back or countering, he was just taking them.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And well, there you go. So Esssuman beats Jenkins in round number 8, I believe.
Yeah.
So let's
on the banner.
I know I'm doing it. I'm trying to. Yeah. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that's
it now. But I believe I need to do this little thing here, and that should hopefully work now. There you go.
Yeah, perfect. Esssuman beats Jenkins.
Well done to Esssuman. I'm sure Fazan will be over the moon and will be keen to interview Esssuman again onto the Quality Shot channel to see how he found the fight and to see what his next steps are. I believe Esssuman had mentioned, and this was a while back because it was obviously their fight got delayed. Esssuman Jenkins, a lot of fights got delayed as a result of COVID. He did mention he wanted to stay active and still have 3 or 4 fights a year even after this fight. So we'll see if Esssuman decides to have a number of other fights as kind of, I don't know, tune up fights, or just additional challenging fights for him until he moves on to his next big opponent, whomever that may be. So what on to Esssuman?
And Esssuman keeps his unbeaten record of 14 wins. Now it goes to 15 wins with an additional KO.
Yeah, 6
now.
by KO, I believe now. So well done to him. And Jenkins fought well. To be honest, some people might suggest it was a early round stoppage, but let's see what Seth says. Enough was enough for Jenkins.
I think it was a fair stoppage. It was.
So Seth says enough was enough for Jenkins, and I think Francis came from a boxing team. He'd do well. I believe all his grappling is anti-grappling to keep it in the boxing realm. About Francis Ngannou. Okay. Well on to Esssuman. He looks very happy. Of course he is. He's just won his fight. So
yeah.
And it's nice to see the boxers hug it out afterwards. No bad blood or anything, and it was a good fair fight. So
I think I missed one of these comments from Seth Rutul about what we say for the main event. I say Joyce. Oh no, we did cover that one. Yeah, it all takes a few on the button. That's the one I missed. Yeah, good point by Seth. It's a real test of both people's chins, I guess. Even though, I guess, as I said, Joyce has already had his chin tested by Dubois. This will be a bigger test.
Yeah. And F says ultimate savagery.
Yeah, which is what he said in the interview.
Which is what he said.
Andrew Peanut said Joyce versus Anthony would be interesting fight in Nigeria. Yeah, I'm not sure what the viewing, what kind of stadium they have in Nigeria and how big I don't think it's going to be quite like Wembley Arena, but you know, it's potential.
That would be interesting though, wouldn't it?
In Nigeria, yeah.
Kind of like remember Rumble in the Jungle though, and all those fights back in the day. That was pretty sick. So
Rumble in the Jungle, did you say?
Yeah, like like Ali fights and Ali versus Foreman, and because Ali, I think unless I'm going to be crucified by all you boxing nerds in the chat though, but I believe Ali once fought Foreman, and it was called Rumble in the Jungle, and they fought in Zaire, Africa. And that was pretty sick. So why not have another one like that? That'd be cool.
Yes.
So yeah.
I should just ask where's Fazan. Fazan is here, but he's in spirit with us, so it's me and Mo covering for him today.
He's actually enjoying the live stream right now, reclining, sipping on his halal champagne, and enjoying us work on this stream for him. But he's in the chat basically, Harris.
Yes, he is in the chat, and Joyce, as I've said, Joyce won silver in the Olympics, so he still did quite well. I think it was, in fact, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, the Olympics where he fought Usyk.
I don't know whether he fought Usyk though, because I remember looking at it, and the first person for super heavyweight, which is what Joyce competed for, the winner was Tony Yoka. It was French, but maybe you're referring to a different.
In 2013, Joyce and Usyk did fight.
Yeah, so you're referring to European Championships in 2013.
Yeah, it's something, but they did fight at some point. I don't know what it was.
Must have been that then. I mean, Joyce got bronze in 2013, and then he got like silver in the Olympic Games, for example, for super heavyweight, which was against the Frenchman. French guy won.
So hopefully, hopefully the next fight is going to be Sheeraz versus Gurria, right? I assume
that is the assumption. I think. Got Fazan saying he fought Yoka in the final, which is what I said, and then he goes on to say and got robbed. I believe you, Fazan. You know more than us, so it's probably true that he got robbed. Harris says thoughts on that twin boxer, forget his name, robbing his opponent who clearly won. Twin boxer.
Who's the
robbing his opponent? Let us know who that is, Harris. I'm not sure who you're referring to. Maybe Fazan knows. But if you manage to find his name, let me know. I'd be interested in checking it out.
Yeah.
I think it might have been an American boxer. Fazan says, Charlo, it's a boxing corruption at its finest. Okay.
Nah,
That's what you're referring to. Okay.
And yeah, Fazan clarified that it was WBS.
Yeah.
It's between amateur and pro type thing. Yeah, it's like a sort of to get into pro, I guess you have to do them sort of fights. We get a few more viewers now. We've got 12 viewers in now. I think it's getting coming close to the main fight, which we're all excited for. Guys who are watching, let us know your thoughts on the main event of Carlos Takam versus Joe Joyce. Who do you think punches harder, Francis Ngannou or Deontay Wilder? That's a very good question. What do you think, Mo? You watch MMA by any chance? Do you? That should be my first.
I watch a bit of MMA, but given Deontay's, well, you know what? Actually, I don't know. I actually don't know. I'll defer to you, Kev, on who you think punches harder.
So basically, Wikipedia says that Francis Ngannou is known for being the hardest recorded puncher in history.
Oh, then it's him. There you go.
But is this talking about across all sports and in general, or just for MMA?
Oh snap! Okay, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, Francis Ngannou is a dope guy, man. Wasn't he on? I swear he got interviewed by Joe Rogan on his podcast. I swear I watched the entire thing as well. I'm not big on. I'm not massively big on MMA, and in that I'm not as versed on it, but I do enjoy it. But no, I'd say him then. I'd say Francis.
Yeah, I'd probably say Francis as well. But I think also you got to remember that Deontay, if he has a really strong right hand, it's very inaccurate, and he just goes for it without really using much skill. Whereas I think Francis probably does use a bit more skill. Who's fighting right now? That's a good question. So I believe it should be Hamza Sheeraz versus Gurria, but we're gonna have to watch and make sure because this the list we have might not be in order. So let's just give it a minute.
Yeah, but what we had just seen, boxing and Gamer Pro, we had just seen the fight between Jenkins and Esssuman. Just to let you know where we are.
So Harris, I should ask a couple of questions. Boxing should not be an Olympic sport, with judges. Boxing should not be in the Olympics. Sports with judges should not be Olympics. You know what? That's a good point. But then a lot of other sports like athletics and even like diving, all of that,
football,
have judges. So it's hard to sort of cut out sports that use judges. Well, I think it's fair to have boxing in Olympics.
Boxing should be in Olympics, but I believe it should be, right? I mean, that then again, though, I mean, if there's a sport where you've seen lots of corruption in the Olympics, it's probably boxing.
Yeah, that's
right?
the top sport.
Boxing's that sport where you see loads of people get robbed. Isn't it Floyd Mayweather lost or something in the Olympics? Right?
Yeah,
I swear Floyd was in the Olympics for the US and he lost, according to the judges, to, I think it might have been a Russian person. I might be completely wrong here, but I believe he competed in the Olympics and he lost to a Russian guy. So he got a bronze in the 1996 Atlanta featherweight Olympic Games, which is ridiculous, right? Because Money May is not going to get a bronze. So yeah, I mean, there you go. You just need to look at that to know. But also Olympics and boxing have a beautiful history as well, because think about Muhammad Ali, for example. He's obviously famously an Olympian boxer as well in terms of his background, and I believe was appointed to light the Olympic torch when it was hosted in, I believe, America. When America was hosting it, they elected him to light the torch. So, boxing and Olympics do have a very interesting relationship with each other, but I think it's better to have boxing in it than out of it. I think the judges are the ones that need to maybe get their act together.
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely a club sport. So I've got Frank. This is Frank Warren here talking now, isn't it?
Yeah, Frank. Well, Frank's might suggest that the Sheeraz fight is coming up because he's a big He's a
Yeah.
big promoter for Sheeraz, but he's generally a good big promoter for this tonight's whole fight, isn't he? Because a lot of his fighters are on this. So Harris says, thoughts on McGregor? You reckon he's finished or can come back from an injury like that? To be fair, Harris, I'm not really big on McGregor. So personally, I mean, if people like him, want him to come back, then sure. But I think the beating he took from the last fight that he had suggests that he's probably not at the top tier level that he once was. Especially given that he got beaten by a guy that I believe could be beat very easily. You know, each to their own. I don't know if Kev, you have a view on McGregor.
I watch a bit of MMA. I do think with respect, Conor McGregor's time is up, especially, you know, he technically did lose his last 2 fights, so he had an injury. And yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I feel like he was just in it for the money more than a serious fight. So that's my opinion on him.
Yeah. Harris says, I want to see that Scottish Pakistani boxer do well. I'm bad with names.
Who's the Scottish Pakistani boxer? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's quite a few well-known British Pakistani boxers coming up. I don't know. He might be referring potentially to Kash Farouk.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll hope maybe we'll review one of his fights as time progresses. But Seth says Roy Jones Jr. against the Korean boxer was the one that changed everything.
Okay. Well, I'm about what's it?
Guys, we're just working through the comments. Please bear with us as I work through these with Kev.
Okay, which one are we on? Is it the Harris Arshad one about thoughts on Lukashenko and the loss against who was the person that he lost to again? Lukashenko. Can't remember his name. Let's just give it that. Lopez, that's it.
Was this? Yeah, Lopez. Yeah.
Loss against Lopez. I thought that was a big upset. It was a great win by Lopez. I'm not sure if the rematch has been confirmed. I hope it has. I'd be interested to watch that and see what happens. But yeah, it was a good fight actually.
Yeah.
Lopez did really well.
2012 Olympics was memorable. Only Olympics I actually watched. Yeah, I mean, as Londoners, it was a big Olympics for us, and I feel sad for our Japanese friends who unfortunately don't have as much of the hype that a lot of other nations have had given the whole COVID pandemic. But
yeah,
hopefully they can make the most of it, and people can really enjoy sport in general, because it's been a really good way of escaping from all the madness that has been COVID lately.
Yeah. Harris also asks, boxing our favourite sport, if not top 3. For me, I'd say boxing, then followed by maybe tennis, and then maybe like MMA or football. I'm into football, but I usually only watch World Cups or Euros more than anything. What about you, Mohammed?
I'm probably boxing, football, cricket.
Yeah,
but I'm more football than cricket, to be honest.
Yeah. Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua. Who you got? Well, I'll say boxing match AJ, but MMA definitely Francis without a doubt. So
I agree with you completely. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like you throw the boxer into the MMA cage, and he's not going to do very well.
Yeah,
but you throw the MMA fighter into the ring, the boxing ring, and he's gonna struggle himself. And a prime example probably is Conor versus Money May.
Yeah, exactly that.
Fazar or F says, in my opinion, Wilder probably bangs harder than Ngannou, as Wilder fights with more padded gloves rather than the small gloves Ngannou does. Well, good point. We'll it'd be interesting if they fight each other. we haven't had as much crossover between boxing and MMA lately in terms of those people from those two disciplines deciding to fight each other since the Mayweather-McGregor fight, which was probably the most high-profile one.
Conor McGregor is too rich to get down like he used to. Yeah, I think money does actually change people a lot, especially in these sort of sports where at the start they're just in it for the money. And then it's easy to lose motivation once you've made too much money. That's just natural for everyone.
And you don't want to take damage as well. Like you want to preserve your life and your health, and that's the case for MMA and boxing respectively, especially with how much damage to the head people sustain as a result of boxing. You see how it affects people in terms of their mental cognition, and Muhammad Ali got Parkinson's, for example. So health is more important than wealth at the end of the day.
Conor Ben is mad. Sorry, I'm not sure who Conor Ben is. Is that like a promoter or a boxer?
No, he's boxer. Each to their own. I think he's interesting character. And also, Kev, Conor Ben's quite famous in that his dad is Nigel Benn, who is quite well known boxer, particularly in like the it's like 80s, kind of early 90s period. It's always interesting when you get people who are the sons of former boxers, like Eubank, for example, Jr. and things like that. So.
Yeah, of course. You'd expect them that they'll be very well trained up by like someone who knows what they're doing from a year earlier. You expect them to be good.
Yeah. Seth says Roy crying as he left the ring at the 1988 Olympics in Seoul. How do you spell that? Seoul is, I believe your spelling is. I think it's Seoul, but the point is still very poignant and importantly mentioned there, Seth. Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's crazy the type of robbery that happens at the Olympics in boxing. Sometimes it's mad. Harry says, "What's your football teams?" I'm Liverpool. And then Kev, what are you?
I'm not into football enough. I only watch like Euros and World Cup, so I don't have a
don't have any team that you affiliate with. Okay. Who do you support internationally? England then?
Yeah, I guess it'd have to be England.
England, there you go. England and Liverpool.
We did well to get so close to the end in the Euros, but we didn't quite win.
Oh, don't remind me.
Yeah, bad.
Are you guys gonna watch Jake Paul versus Woodley? I'm not, Harris. I'm unless Jake Paul fights someone that is like a proper high profile active fighter. I'm just not. We're giving them money. I don't want to do it.
I feel like these are all just money fights now.
The exhibition was interesting. Kind of between Logan. I think it was Logan, right? The older brother versus Mayweather. That was interesting. Yeah, Logan, Money May just made money like that, real easy.
It was a draw, wasn't it? That fight.
Yeah.
I just found it really strange that Floyd did that. Do you think Floyd's running out of money? Because surely he wouldn't do it for. But
I think it's easy money for him.
Yeah, but then it's like, if he's had a 50-0 record, why would he want to take it or even risk taking a draw?
Well, I believe it was an exhibition.
But I
believe it was exhibition, so he doesn't actually tarnish his actual boxing record. And I have a feeling he could have easily savaged Logan Paul, but decided not to in the interest of just making sure that things were nice and kind of peaceful, and that he could just get his paycheck and be done with it. Seth says boxing is both more limited and more refined at the same time. Not to sound like I'm belittling boxing, just a very specific skill set rather than a wider range of bad stuff you can do. I agree. I agree with you. So on our screen, and David, sorry, we don't show the fight due to normal copyright and legal reasons. But we will try our best to provide a commentary of what's going on. And if you are watching the fight on yourself, then please do let us know how you think the fights are going. The current fight in front of us is hoping Joe Joyce picks up gold in Taekwondo tomorrow. I'll keep an eye out for Joe Joyce in Taekwondo. So we're currently watching on our screen. We got Naeem Ali. So this is definitely not a Hamza Sheeraz fight. It's interesting how they do this, right, Kev? Like,
yeah, because I was thinking it's someone else.
Because you get Esssuman, which is like one of the kind of top undercard type fights, and now you've got Naeem Ali versus Sam Noakes, who we're going to have to do some research into as well.
It would be the Sheeraz fight. I don't know why it's like this.
Oh well, that's okay. They're throwing in a bunch of other ones, and might as well enjoy our time with the viewers as well, and chat with them while we watch these continuous undercards. Seth says, yeah, Woodley will be his first actual fight. Harris says Jade will get a third. Logan and Mayweather was a spar. Come on, it was so bad. Yeah, I agree. It was wasn't particularly entertaining to watch, but I like watching these things simply to see how they would go, because Mayweather's like obviously a proper fighter, and Logan Paul is probably decent, but obviously not necessarily at a professional level. So it's just interesting to see what happens when you throw two people like them together, like entertainment only, because that's what you're buying. You're buying entertainment. So this fight between Naeem Ali and Sam Noakes has just started. Kev is probably doing his intensive research into their backgrounds and where they currently are. They look like young fighters.
Yeah, I've never seen these guys. I've heard of these guys, so I'm just watching these guys, seeing what they're like. Get another fight that, yeah.
I can see off the bat of it, Sam Noakes has already come out with a bunch of kind of power punches, and he's coming out very aggressively.
Yeah.
Very, very aggressive for like the first few seconds of the first round, but it seems to be taking Ali back by surprise. Adori says Francis Ngannou versus Deontay Wilder would be a landmine fight. I agree, that would be sick. That'd be very interesting. Either boxing or MMA, either way, it'd be pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah.
No worries, David. Harris, I've muted the fight and got your commentary on. Oh, nice. No, don't do that. Okay.
It's a privilege that you would do something like that for us.
You trust us too much. So
this is a 6-round fight again. This isn't a usual.
It's a 6-round fight, and it looks like they've taken that to heart, these two, because they are fighting at quite a fast pace right now.
Yeah, I agree. It's very fast paced, actually. Let's see where this fight goes.
Noakes has backed Ali into the corner currently on my screen, but Ali's managed to make his way back out. But Noakes is definitely looking like the more aggressive of the two, coming forward, pushing him back with jabs. Ali's currently throwing a few, just kind of parrying right now, but he finds himself in a corner again. Not sure whether Ali's inviting this or whether he's actually having issues trying to get out of the corner here.
Yeah.
If I was to guess who's going to win this fight, and we obviously, Kev, we don't really know too much about these two gentlemen, but if I had to guess, I would guess that Sam Noakes is going to win this fight from how he's acting right now.
I'm just gonna see
end of round 1.
Is it Sam Daly? What's this person's name?
His name is Sam Noakes. Noakes.
Okay.
So point of this: no losses, no draws. Which is understandable because he looked like the better of the two, to be honest. And he's going up against Naeem Ali, who has 2 wins, 70 losses.
Yeah. So 1 second. Give me 1 second. I've just got to mute.
What the frick? Yeah, no worries, Kev. So we got a guy who's got 6 wins and no losses going up against the guy who's got 2 wins and 70 losses. 70 losses. What the frick?
Wait, what? Who's this?
Why is this fight going ahead? I don't understand. He's got 70 losses, bro.
Who, the guy fighting now?
No, yeah, Naeem Ali's got 70 losses and 2 wins. I don't understand. Is that a glitch on BoxRec, or if it looks legit? I'm thoroughly confused why this fight would make any sense in terms of a pairing, to be honest.
Right now.
It makes literally no sense. This is a ridiculous setup, but I'd be highly surprised if Naeem Ali wins this fight now. I did assume that Sam Noakes is gonna win this and that he's looking the much more aggressive of the two, but I didn't realize that these two fighters were this far apart from each other.
Yeah, it's quite crazy. 70 losses.
I've never seen a fighter with 70 losses fight. Maybe I'm just not used to watching the fights before the undercards, but that has to be ridiculously disparate between these two. So
sorry about that. My connection.
No worries, man. So yeah, I was just reflecting on how ridiculous it is that these two are fighting. But you got Sam Noakes back in Ali into corners, pushing him aggressively, jabbing him
on top of it. Yeah,
he's definitely the better of the two. And my view is, if he doesn't get Ali out of here before the end of the 6 rounds, it's not going to look good on him. Because if you're fighting a lad who's had 70 losses and 2 wins, then you should ideally get rid of him within the 6 rounds. That being said, interestingly, I don't think this guy Naeem Ali, he hasn't been knocked out. I think all of his losses have come not as knockouts.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's a very solid guy in terms of his ability to withstand damage. And maybe that's the test. I don't know, but if you're tuning in and watching this fight, let us know what you think. Let us know if you've ever seen someone that's had 70 losses fight before, because I don't know whether that's an anomaly or whether I just don't understand.
I've never seen that either.
Yeah, nice establishment of the jab by Sam Noakes, backing Ali into a corner again.
Ali just
unleashing onto him
where possible.
Yeah, I think Ali is just he's just covering up. Hasn't really thrown very much. Just working on survival right now, it seems. I feel like the referee's going to get impatient if he doesn't start throwing and might stop the fight here, because so far he's just taking damage and tying Sam up, and that ends round 2, I believe it was. I can already see blood coming from Ali as well.
Yeah.
Harris, while we go on to a little break before the 3rd round, Harris says Fury versus Wilder predictions. Kev, do you wanna?
Well, the third fight though we're talking, right?
Yeah.
I think Fury will outbox him, because I don't believe in any of that scam about there being stuff in his glove or anything like that. What do you think?
I agree. I think Fury will knock him out. I think Fury will knock him out. He's just oh, that's it. It's the end of that fight. Ali versus Noakes, and Sam Noakes wins by, I assume, RTD win. Because it looks like the medical staff or perhaps his corner decided to wave the fight off. Looks like he might have sustained quite a serious nose injury there, but he seems to be breathing and walking fine. But maybe his corner decided that his injury is a bit too much for him to continue. I feel a bit confused about this fight, to be perfectly honest. This was a weird fight.
Do you feel like Ali just did it for like some money or some fame?
I'm not. You know what? It was on the tip of my tongue, but I didn't want to make the accusation. But I have a feeling
I don't feel like he doesn't seem like a serious boxer to me.
He did take quite a bit of damage, and Sam Noakes seemed to deliver a very nice uppercut through the guard of Ali there, and that's what produced the victory for him ultimately. Naeem Ali's corner decides to end the fight, or I believe one of the medical staff decided to end the fight. Either way, quite a clear win for Sam Noakes. Well done to him. He goes on to continue his unbeaten record.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm not sure if we're going to see Naeem Ali again, but we'll see. Hey, look, I mean, if you want to keep fighting, there's no issue with that, right? As in, like, not to have anything against Naeem Ali. Obviously, came to fight, gave it his all. He might not have a very good record, but he appears to come across as someone who's quite a respectful boxer and gives it a shot. So, you know, hats off to both the gentlemen, I guess.
A shot, but yeah, I'm not sure. It was a really strange fight considering it got stopped.
Yeah, and that's what happened. Yeah, Sam Noakes wins.
TKO technically.
I think it was. Yeah, I believe it might have been a TKO victory there. And we'll see what the next fight is. I'm not sure whether you've managed or anyone's managed to find out what the actual fight rota is, because this has been quite a strange rota. A number of undercard fights that have been the main type undercards mixed in with lesser known fighters currently. Yeah. So, yeah, a bit odd.
Let's see what happens. If you don't mind, I'm just going to grab some water, so I'll just be back in 2 minutes, okay? I'm just going to mute.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah, cheers.
While Kev is away, just to summarize, Sam Noakes has beaten Naeem Ali in quite easy fashion, to be honest. Dominated the fight and caused quite a bad cut to Naeem Ali's nose there. And Naeem Ali is the one who waved off continuing to fight from looking at the highlights there of what happened in the last moments of that round. So we've still got quite a few fights to witness. We had seen Esssuman versus Jenkins. For those of you who wondered whether that fight has already happened, it has. Esssuman beat Jenkins, as we've got flying on the bottom there of the banner. He beat him in round number 8. Very impressive victory for Esssuman, who continues his unbeaten record. And we're still yet to view 2 other fights that we were quite keen to view, and that is Sheeraz versus Gurria, which hasn't happened yet, as far as we're aware, and the big one, which is obviously Takam versus Joyce, which has not happened and won't be happening for a little while. I'd imagine at least half an hour until that fight begins. I'd suspect. Because we still need to see Gurria versus Sheeraz. Let's see some of the comments there. So it works both ways. He's a stepping stone journeyman for this Sam guy. Yeah, I agree, Harris. That's probably what Naeem Ali was for Sam Noakes. For those of you who weren't aware, and we had discovered this in the process of looking it up on BoxRec, Naeem Ali, his record is 2 wins and 70 losses, which I think is going to be 71 losses now. But we found it quite interesting that fight was going ahead. Someone who's got 2 wins, 70 losses versus a guy who's got 6 wins and no losses. Bit strange, but as Harris is suggesting, it's probably just a stepping stone type of fight for him. We're yet to see him face much tougher opponents. Let's see how Sam Noakes' career develops as time moves on. Look forward to seeing him again. It looked quite promising. Harris, if you was above, what promotion would you fight under? What promotion would I fight under? Well, if you think about the promoters, I'd probably be. I like. Oh, if you were a boxer, maybe he's a divisive character, but I really do like Eddie Hearn, and I probably, if I was a boxer, I would just allow him to promote my fights. I'd probably select him to promote fights, to be honest. And he's obviously developed himself into quite a good promoter over time, and I believe he's got a relationship now with DAZN or DAZN or whatever you'd like to call it, and Matchroom. And so I'd probably join Eddie's roster of boxers if I was one, but you can always dream. What about you, Harris? What about other people who might be listening in? If you were a boxer, who would you use to promote yourself? But I just think Eddie Hearn's done a really good job, and I respect Frank Warren. He's a really good promoter, and historically he's obviously been in the game for so long. And one of my most favorite boxers ever, when I was growing up, was Prince Nassim Hamed, and he's the one who got me into boxing, in terms of like enjoying the viewing of boxing. That's my personal view, in terms of what got me into it. And he was promoted by Frank, of course. So he's also someone that I have a lot of respect for as a promoter, Frank. I think he's done a good job. But the more British fighters we have, that's my personal view. The more British fighters we have, the better it is for us in the UK. And the more British promoters we have who are doing well, that's good for us as well. So I'm quite pro Brit in that sense. For those of you tuning in, main event hasn't started yet. I believe it's not going to start. It's not going to be the next fight. We're still waiting for some undercard fights. For example, we're still waiting for Sheeraz Gurria, I believe. Eddie Hearn, he's my guy. Harris says Messi or Ronaldo for you. Ronaldo. Obviously, they're both great footballers. But I think I like Ronaldo more. I just like his personalities. They're both good personalities, but I think Ronaldo's got quite a nice personality. And you know what? That's the thing about boxing as well. Obviously, boxing is about how technically gifted you are and how good of a power puncher you are, how good your chin is, how good you are in terms of your defensive abilities, etc. All the boxing stuff. But you know what I really like about boxing as well? It's so individualistic. Because obviously you only got one person fighting in the ring there. You obviously got a corner behind you and a promoter and all that kind of stuff. But that's the thing that I love about boxing. You really get to look at characters, and you can like a character, and that's the thing that really makes you a fan, as opposed to just like enjoying boxing. And it's what brings a lot of people into boxing who aren't big boxing geeks, who are casual fans. They just like the personalities behind them.
Sorry about the delay there, guys.
Behind the fighter. Yeah, no worries. Welcome back, Kev. I was just reminiscing on some of the comments that Harris has put forward.
Yeah.
I was just.
Go ahead. Have we figured out who the next fight is going to be?
No.
Oh yeah. It's okay.
Let me try and do some.
No, it's all right. It's hard because the internet says something, but then what happens is something else. Maybe they're just thinking of it as it goes along.
They might be. It's a bit of a strange setup so far, but it's got to be the case that the main fight hasn't happened yet, and the main fight is dependent on obviously the undercards being fought out, and we haven't seen Sheeraz Gurria, so there must be still another half an hour until Joyce versus Takam, right? It must be the case.
Might be quite a while.
Might be quite a while, but that's okay. You guys have company as we work through the undercard fights. For those of you who might be new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to Quality Shot. We like talking about interviewing people from and hearing your views about cricket, tennis, and of course boxing. And today we are going through the rounds of various fights that are happening at Wembley today. And the main fight, of course, is Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam.
Yeah,
Harris, what's the next fight? And who's the Asian guy? I'm sorry, Harris, I do not know what the next fight is at this stage.
Right, which Asian guy is you referring to?
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably both of us. But
I'm Kev. This is Mo.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna try and see if there is a way to find out what the next fight is.
Yeah, I want to see who's on as well.
Just so that we can also give our viewers an indication of where we are and what we're waiting for. So let's see. Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam. Scroll down. Let's see. What's the undercard saying?
I think Sheeraz versus Gurria is next, according to.
Oh, okay. Aris is saying now the Asian boxer that's fighting. Okay. I assume you're referring to Hamza Sheeraz. So Hamza Sheeraz is basically an up-and-coming super welterweight fighter. He's 22. He's quite young. He's also very tall for super welterweight. He's 6'1". He's had 12 fights. He's won all 12 of them, and 8 of them have come by knockout. So his last few fights have been, ended by TKO, for example. So he's likely to be the type to end a fight early and not go to points. So he's going to be tested by a Spaniard by the name of Ezequiel Gurria. And he is a 5'11.5" super welterweight, which is also quite tall for super welterweight, isn't it?
Yeah, still close to 6 foot. But
yeah, he's got
Howard Inferno, who just towers literally everyone.
Yeah, Gurria's got 15 wins and 1 loss, which is actually a good record, right? It's a pretty good record. So it's a proper fight there for him. A lot of Gurria's fights were domestic, and he's never fought in the UK before, so that's interesting.
What about Sheeraz? Has he got an unbeaten record? I think he has.
Yeah, Sheeraz has an unbeaten record. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's quite a tight fight, I would imagine. But it appears a lot of the pundits are suggesting that Sheeraz is going to be very dominant in this fight, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So I might turn the volume on for BT Sport to figure out what's going on in terms of
the. See, but I think it is the Sheeraz Gurria fight next.
We got Rocky Crystal saying, "I hope to Usyk win Joshua. I hope Usyk beats Joshua."
That's a fair comment to make. I think Usyk's done well. I think it'll be his biggest test anyway so far for Usyk.
Yeah, that'll be a sick fight, to be honest. They're both really good fighters, and although obviously Usyk is a bit new to the heavyweight division, although he's got experience fighting at that type of weight generally. Yeah, he's breaking in. So him versus Joshua is a great fight. And they're both very good boxers, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I think they're currently commemorating someone potentially. They're ringing a bell right now.
Yeah, there was that silence in the crowd. It may have been someone's death. I'm not sure.
I believe it's one of the boxer that passed away. Yeah.
That's the Howard Inferno, Sheeraz. That can't be his natural body weight, surely. Like, he can't be just walking around in that way. Like, look how skinny, look how thin he is.
I see Joe Joyce getting ready in the change room, just warming up right now.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe Sheeraz is next.
Yeah.
You see Sheeraz just warming up with the pads right now.
Yeah.
Oh, he's looking sharp with those pads, to be honest.
Yeah, he does look good.
Yeah, I believe it is definitely Gurria versus Sheeraz as the next fight, just so that you guys are aware. I believe that's the case.
Yeah, it is. I think.
I have a feeling because the previous fights have ended prematurely, as in before going to points. They might be stretching it out a bit more, perhaps.
Oh, so what time's that main fight meant to start? Is it meant to still be quite late?
I would have thought the main fight would start at like 10:30 or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Given it's in the UK.
Yeah, so it shouldn't be too late. Like, usually we're watching that 4 a.m. fights and stuff, so we're watching US ones.
No, yeah, thank goodness it's not US. Like, yeah, that would be absolutely tiring. But it's not too bad if it's on a Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at least then you get to rest on Sunday. So Harris says, no way Joshua, because we need Fury versus Joshua. In response to Rocky saying, I hope Usyk beats Joshua.
Mm.
Yeah, we will see. I think whoever wins between Usyk and Joshua, I believe, will fight Joe Joyce, providing he wins.
Yeah.
Because Joe Joyce is the mandatory challenger to the winner of Usyk versus AJ. So I don't think we're going to see AJ Fury for a while, but it's certainly something that will happen. It has to happen. I want to see that fight.
Agreed.
Kev, I'm just going to step away for 1 minute.
Yeah, that's right.
I will be back. Cool. Cheers.
Harris said he was training with Tengoose, which was based in America, and Carl also trained with them. Yeah. I hope Usyk and Joshua. That will be an interesting fight for sure. Let's see what happens. But let's see. Now we're about to start up the Sheeraz versus Gurria fight. Here's Sheeraz just warming up, getting ready. Harris Hush. The man's wearing an Arsenal kit, fancy club.
Who?
Arsenal kit. So Sheeraz just making his ring entrance here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's
he is actually wearing an Arsenal kit. Yeah.
Lol.
Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's come from the wrong sport by the looks of it.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like boxer who wants to be a footballer, but no. But no, I appreciate his dedication to Arsenal.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting. So in comes, I assume, Gurria right now. Rolling in with his red bandana over his face.
Yeah.
He literally is walking in with an Arsenal football shirt.
Yeah.
Sheeraz is a banter boy.
Yeah, he is.
Rolling in with an Arsenal kit. Fair dues. Maybe Arsenal will get an idea from this, and maybe they should start doing boxing apparel as well. Oh, he's got Saka on the back. That's interesting. There must be a reason behind this. Obviously, Saka is the very well-known Arsenal player who did a lot to save Arsenal.
Yeah.
In the last Premier League season, of course, was the one of the English players who missed one of the penalties against Italy in the Euros final. But it has a very bright future ahead of him as a very young guy. So maybe he's wearing it. Maybe he knows Saka personally or something like that. Or maybe he wants to wear it in solidarity to Saka. Because obviously Saka came across a barrage of completely unnecessary and spiteful racism and abuse, despite the fact that he's such a young talent. So, no, that's very interesting. It went from banter to maybe that's deep quite quickly. Harris saying, actually, no, he's wearing a sack on the back. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably the case. It's out of respect. Yeah, agree. Tribute. Yeah. Saka missing the penny. That's the why he's showing respect, support. Yeah, I assume that's the case. As well. Well, good on him. He seems like a good lad, Sheeraz, and he seemed to have quite a nice contingent of fans at the weigh-in who are big fans of him. So
yeah,
and I believe he's Pakistani by background. Pretty sure he is.
He looks like he is. Yeah. So Gurria, here we go. So this is his records. Yeah. 5'11" stance switch. Oh, he switches stance to southward orthodox.
Yeah, he seems dangerous. But Sheeraz is the type of guy who knocks out a lot of his opponents. So we might be seeing a knockout here. Depends on the quality of Gurria, right? I mean, this is his first time fighting a Brit, I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
In the UK as well, so he looks relaxed. Yeah, his stance is a switcher, as BT Sports say. So former Spanish champion, having won his last two since losing the belt. Yeah, he's not to be messed around with there. Sheeraz is, I believe, the WBO European Super Welterweight title holder, and this fight means that he is, I believe, defending his belt.
I agree. So Sheeraz, yeah, this is definitely
the third defense of his WBO European title, ranked number 13 by the WBO. He relocated to the US, is now trained by Ricky Funes in California. Yeah, he recently moved to the US. He mentioned that he was fighting a lot of, Mexicans and Argentinians and Colombians and lots of rough fighters, which is interesting. Of course, Spanish people are not necessarily the, Hispanic, but maybe there's some sort of, they're not from South America is what I meant. Yeah. But maybe Spanish fighters and South American fighters are, I don't know, they have some similarity. You can see the difference in the height already, can't you, Kev?
Yeah, Sheeraz 6'4.5". It's not that much of a height difference. Like a lot of the people in this weight class would still be smaller than 5'11" anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a noticeable difference. Sheeraz, yeah, here we go. Under the outside, throwing those power punches. Gurria just sort of trying to get the distance right, knowing he has to get on the inside.
All right, and they are off.
So it's a 10-round fight. Here we go. Let's see what happens. What are your predictions on this, Mo?
My prediction is that Sheeraz will win. I think it will be by TKO or KO, and I think it will happen after midway. That's my prediction.
Fair prediction. I still think Sheeraz will win, but I do think it's going to be on points. Not sure why. I feel like, based on his previous wins, I feel like Sheeraz isn't the most, even though he's a tall guy, he hasn't most of a power punch or much of a knockout artist, but he's still a good boxer. So I'd say Sheeraz to win on points.
Yeah, what do you guys think in the chat? Do you guys think he's gonna? Do you think Sheeraz is gonna win? Do you think Gurria is gonna win? Let us know. So far, as we're watching this fight right now, okay, looks like both of them are trading blows right now, uppercuts and hooks. You went from getting a feel for each other and starting off with your standard jabs to starting to throw in a few power punches there. Sheeraz did a good job of jabbing straight through Gurria's guard just now.
Yeah.
He needs to tighten that up, Gurria, I would imagine. Oh, body shot hook from Sheeraz there. He's definitely pressing, and he seems to be the aggressor as he's walking Gurria down, landing a body shot again, Sheeraz. Again, a jab straight through the guard by Sheeraz.
Yeah.
He's finding it quite easy to jab into Gurria, isn't he? I mean, I don't know what that guard is doing right now. I mean, okay, he's tightening it up now, I think, Gurria. I think Sheeraz doing a very good job of maintaining the pressure on Gurria at this early stage in the fight, and he's doing a good job just throwing in a bunch of power punches as well. He's got such long limbs, doesn't he? Obviously, because his height advantage. He just looks more vicious when he decides to throw in a power punch.
Yeah, absolutely, and but Sheeraz looks very relaxed now, being treated in this corner, but it's hard to say so far what's going on. I don't know who's going to win this.
Yeah, first round is over. Looked pretty even, but I think Sheeraz got more success than Gurria just now. I think he managed to get through past Gurria's guard quite easily when landing his jabs.
Yeah,
he's been quite vicious quite early on with his body shots, uppercuts, few overhands. He's definitely mixing it in.
Yeah, agreed.
It looks like it's hardly worked up a sweat as well, Sheeraz, right now. What's your thoughts on Sheeraz so far, Kev?
I think Sheeraz is doing well, but Sheeraz, I think he still needs to try and get into the swing of things. That's all it is. Still early rounds. I think it's more of a feel up for him more than anything, rather than going straight in and going for it.
Absolutely, and round 2 is off again. Oh no, it's not. What's going on here? Referee a bit concerned about something going on in the crowd. Obviously, we don't have the sound on to know, but perhaps something was going on there. But yeah. Round 2 is off again, and as I've been talking, Sheeraz landed quite a few nice uppercuts there onto Gurria. Gurria is starting to come out a bit more, however, starting to go toe to toe with Sheeraz at some points.
They've said, what's your thoughts on Sheeraz? I think he's good. He's definitely got the advantage of his height, but I don't think he's as good as some of his previous fights. I feel like he's a bit slow.
He just reminds me of the Towering Inferno as well.
He really does. I mean, that is.
It's just the way he does uppercuts. It looks so much like I'm watching Andre Figueroa, I think his name is. It's the Towering Inferno, isn't it? But it reminds me of him. Sorry, Sebastian Fundora. He just reminds me of him so much.
Yeah.
Harris says.
Yeah. His opponent is stiff, I agree. But I feel like Sheeraz is still quite stiff as well for some reason. He's not got that, I don't know.
Yeah, what makes you think he's looking stiff so far?
I don't know. It's just the way he's not moving around so much as well. He's just sort of standing still, throwing the punches. He's not that light on his feet by the looks of it. I think his opponent Gurria is quite. Look, he's like jumping around a bit. Sheeraz sort of standing there trying to go for it.
Yeah, he's less bouncing about and more kind of planting his feet for a power shot.
Yeah, which might work in his advantage, but depends.
Yeah, they're both just trading uppercuts and hooks right now.
Sheeraz needs to use angles, as Harris said. Yeah, I agree. He needs to sort of go dance around him a little bit rather than just try to go attack linearly.
Yeah, it becomes predictable after a point, perhaps. And eventually he's going to be able to
see which one's the most competitive for the Sony, and then try and get used as well. My one's actually not that good. Yeah, I don't think it is the best one, and the reviews don't really rate it as highly as well. But he gets the job done. But yeah, I've watched back some of the videos. Some of them, the sound isn't that great.
So that's the end of that round. Frankie's asking, what time is the main event, guys?
I'll say in about half an hour. It's probably going to be on.
Yeah, probably in half an hour. I think the suspicion is that the main event's going to follow this one here. I think this is the final undercard fight, which is Sheeraz versus Gurria. And I think after this, it will be Takam versus Joyce. So probably half an hour, 11 p.m. UK time, I'd imagine. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. To Quality Shot, we are trying our very best to develop a community of people who enjoy sports generally and like to chat about it, watch it together and things like that. And we're trying our best to put out quality content for you all, including interviews and live streams.
Yeah.
Round 3 of 10 begins.
Yeah, there we go. It just seems very back and forth, like one punch thrown by each of them. So I think it's quite balanced this round as well, quite tight. It's hard to decide who's winning so far.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I feel like maybe it might be that Gurria's getting an idea of what Sheeraz is doing, and he's starting to cover up a bit more, and he is blocking a lot of the punches that are coming in, and parrying with his gloves a bit more as well. I think they seem to be doing a very similar pattern of uppercut, hook, uppercut, hook type stuff. And they keep keeping their guards quite high. So both trying to break through each other's guards. I'd probably go more to the body if I was Sheeraz at this stage. He's going for the head a bit too much.
Harris should just ask, have you guys ever been to a boxing match? Yes. We at Mimo and a few others, Fizan and a group of us went to see Joshua versus Povetkin at Wembley Stadium. Harris, let us know which one you went to see and where was it? The one we saw was actually really good fun. It was great atmosphere. It was a great win by Joshua. So yeah, it was really good fun watching it. That's my first boxing match that I've been to as well.
Gurria is starting to get caught just a bit more now. And I feel like Sheeraz is potentially starting to turn up the gears. Barrage of punches there from Sheeraz, finishing off with a left hook, which does connect with Gurria, but Gurria shakes his head as if to say it doesn't do very much to me. But we'll see. Nice double jab there by Sheeraz, straight through the guard of Gurria, and another jab as well. They look like quite hard jabs because you can see Gurria's head push back. And this is a very good round for Sheeraz in my view. He's connected a lot to Gurria's head. through a combination of hooks and a lot of jabs, and then proceeds to duck quite a wild hook thrown by Gurria. Gurria is now starting to mess around a bit at the end of that round. Did you see that? He's starting to move back and forth and jump on the spot and stuff. I would give that round to Sheeraz. I don't know about you, Kev. What would you think?
I'd probably say the same. I'd give that to him.
Harris says, never been to a boxing match before physically, but I would have wanted to go to an Amir Khan fight, but he fought in America in his prime. Yeah, I don't know. I think Amir Khan's still fighting, right? Technically, but I haven't seen him fight in a long time. But I would like him to come back for Kell Brook. I'd like to see that fight happen.
Yeah.
I think Amir Khan is past his prime now. I do believe he's past his prime, and I believe he's kind of transitioned out into the world of kind of TV entertainment type stuff.
Yeah, he's more of a social media personality.
Yeah, like keeping up with the Khans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so but I'd like to see him fight Kell Brook. Both of those fighters, to be honest, are past their prime. I just want to see it.
Yeah.
Because of the beef. And you got Frankie Cutler saying, AJ coming to collect that rent money, #landlord. F says, remember AJ versus Povetkin, Kev, at Wembley. Carnage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was carnage. It was a great fight as well. You see the knockout from AJ. Harry said that card show was actual trash. Or was it keeping up with the Khans? Like that?
Something like that. It's like keeping up with the Kardashians, but so just say keeping up with the Khans.
Yeah, it felt like a bit of a copy, isn't it?
It is, and I think he's trying to get to that type of level of status, which is another way to butter your bread, to be honest. I mean, you don't have to get punched in the face for that, and you can still butter your bread. Sheeraz is doing a very good job breaking through the guard of Gurria, I've found. Gurria has kept his hands up, and he has kept them tight, but Sheeraz always seems to find a way to break through the middle of his guard there and get straight into his face. And I do feel as if Gurria he's definitely still in the fight, but he's certainly not thrown as much as Sheeraz, and he's certainly not connected as much as Sheeraz. Sheeraz looks in control of this fight currently. And Harris says, the Khan versus Maidana fight was entertaining. Yeah, I agree.
It was Khan
that
one.
Was a sick fight. To be fair, you can't put that one into perspective until you realize how much of a trouble Maidana caused Mayweather.
Yeah.
At least in the first fight. And I know people can say otherwise, but to be honest, I did find that first fight between Maidana and Mayweather was absolutely very entertaining and relatively close, I would say. So yeah, the fact that Khan went through that fight and won is impressive, I would say. Just about hanging on for his life, as he always does in fights.
Yeah.
And speaking of Khan, and obviously Khan's obviously British Pakistani, I feel like Sheeraz is the same. I feel like there's quite a big base of Pakistani background boxing fans in the UK, especially, who are looking for someone that they can get behind that reminds them of Khan, in that they're a British Pakistani boxer with a bright future, and maybe Sheeraz is that guy to take over the British Pakistani boxing baton.
Yeah.
Seth says this guy has a beautiful job and he's got his head down trying to be an inside guy. Beautiful jab, sorry. And he's got his head down trying to be an inside guy. Yeah. I think Sheeraz is definitely mixing it up. I have a feeling from what Frank Warren was suggesting prior to this fight, he suggested that Sheeraz is very good at fighting on the inside. And I feel like he's done a good job of showcasing his jab, and he's done a good job of showcasing his ability to fight inside and utilize his power punches. I haven't seen the damage yet That's one thing to keep note of. We haven't seen the damage to Gurria yet, but it may just be a matter of time. I do remember predicting after this, halfway, we might see a KO or TKO at the hands of Sheeraz. So we'll see. Harris, it was just yeah. In terms of the keeping up with the cons, I didn't watch it, but thank you for summarizing it. I'm glad I don't have to watch it anymore. Khan fought Maidana when he was most dangerous and feared, and people dodged him. That's true. The thing about you, it's one thing you can always say about Khan, and by the way, 5th round has started now between Gurria and Sheeraz. One thing you can always say about Khan is that he didn't dodge people, and he was happy to get knocked out by people if it.
Yeah, he was.
If Canelo and a bunch of other fighters, and he didn't mind. He fought anyone. I do rate that.
Yeah.
Mayweather would have beaten Khan, but he saw that and was like, no point taking that risk because Khan fought Maidana to get Mayweather, just like Mayweather fought and then aired him. Yeah, it would have been interesting to see Mayweather Khan, but unfortunately, I think that ship has sailed now. It would have been very interesting to see because Khan was obviously a boxer. He's not necessarily like your power puncher kind of type of fighter, and so anyone that's like a good boxer and has very good fast hands, as Khan did, would have been a very interesting fight for Mayweather to have taken. Seth says Chisora. Yeah, I saw Chisora on BT Sport in the crowd. I don't know if you saw that as well, Kev. They showed Chisora.
They did, yeah. Oh, hold on a second. This is Sheeraz looks like he's pumping.
Down Gurria goes. Sheeraz landed quite. Was that an uppercut? I believe it was an uppercut. And basically, what's happened right now, guys, is Gurria's taken a knee. He's been given one of those standing. Sheeraz is absolutely mauling Gurria right now, all over him after the fact that Gurria took a knee. He clearly looks injured in the 5th round. There's 50 seconds left, and Sheeraz is exerting a lot of energy to try and get him out. Gurria's doing a decent job of covering his face, trying to. Oh no! And it's straight down the middle, uppercut. Hits Gurria. Gurria's on the floor, and the ref has called off the fight. Sheeraz wins in round 5 by way of, I assume, TKO, given the fact that the ref called it off. So not bad in terms of the prediction, I would say.
Yeah.
I think I said after the 5th, but it was the 5th, 50 seconds remaining. Sheeraz wins this fight. I think we'll update the little banner to say that as well.
I'm gonna do it now. Yeah, we go.
How do you spell? It's a Sheeraz with double E, isn't it? Yeah.
Sheeraz.
Yeah, Sheeraz. Although I say Sheeraz.
Sheeraz.
Sheeraz beats Gurria in round 5, wasn't it?
Yeah, by technical
TKO.
Wow, what?
And we're gonna add that now.
And now we're seeing Joe Joyce starting to get warmed up for the.
Yeah, now I believe it is now going to be Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam coming up, I'd imagine. What were your thoughts on that, Kev? What did you think of Sheeraz?
All of a sudden, I thought Gurria was actually doing okay, but then suddenly Sheeraz just bumped up the volume. And I'm not sure. It was just quite interesting to watch what happened. But well played to him. He did well. Yeah,
he did well, and I think he's definitely a promising fighter. He continues his unbeaten record. Now he's going to be 13 fights, 13 wins, and 9 by KO or TKO. So a very good record. Unless he's his next fight, I'm sure we'll see lots of him in the future.
Yeah.
We got Frankie asking, how do you guys see AJ versus Usyk? Kev, what do you think in terms of the AJ versus Usyk matchup? Of course, they are scheduled to
AJ will win, maybe even by points. But I just think Usyk is just too. I don't know. I feel like Usyk's naturally a cruiserweight and AJ's naturally a heavyweight, so it's a big challenge for Usyk. I still want to say that AJ will win.
Yeah, I agree. I think AJ. I think AJ will win. I think AJ's the more comfortable of the two at fighting at that weight as well, and he still carries power, and he's a very good boxer in terms of technical ability. So he's got that good combination of technical ability and power, which he can carry, which he has obviously carried throughout the heavyweight division. But same goes for Usyk. Obviously, technically very gifted and also can carry power. But you have to remember the challenge that Usyk was faced with when he previously fought Chisora. And you have to remember Chisora is obviously not necessarily at the level of AJ. Well, obviously not at the level of AJ. Without being, I don't mean to be disrespectful to Chisora, but he still caused Usyk some issues.
Yeah.
And then you imagine what kind of issues AJ could cause.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone who's faster, probably similar or better power, younger, and more in his prime than Chisora, for example. So it's going to be a very interesting fight. How do you score it, Frankie? Who do you think is going to win between AJ and Usyk? Let me know, guys, what you guys think. Harris, people say he dodged Brook. I disagree in terms of Khan. I disagree. That was more personal, and Khan did not want to help him anyway. In anyways,
I can't remember.
Yeah, they had bad blood, didn't they? Khan and Brook, and Khan probably didn't want to give him a payday or anything like that.
Yeah.
Seth says Khan would trade with anyone. He had speed all day, but not enough power. Yeah, Khan's speed was fantastic. I remember. I mean, Fazan obviously is a big fan of Khan and really rates him as well. And the thing about Khan is, I mean, I know people say that it can be an issue of timing, but I do think he was challenged with his chin. Like his chin was definitely an issue.
Yeah, it was
definitely an issue. Now, when he's been caught at the worst times, and like when he got caught by Canelo, he was caught like proper. Is that a lot of people would get knocked out by things like that punch, but
yeah,
at the same time, I just have a feeling Khan was tested with his chin, but he had a fantastic speed and probably not enough power. That's probably correct. Because
well, but yeah, chin just didn't match up to what it should have been.
Yeah, trading uppercuts indeed. Yeah, that was a really good fight. Sheeraz Gurria, I enjoyed it. Hold on to Sheeraz. Yeah, Sheeraz currently being interviewed right now on my screen here.
But yeah.
I'm sure he's mentioning that he was a good fighter, but my my ability shone through, and I was properly trained for this, etc. Probably right. He's got a bright future in front of him. Right, bring on Joyce, says Frankie. Indeed, looking forward to it.
That should be very shortly.
Big fight coming up. Main fight coming up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be good.
Yes, it's gonna be a good fight. I'm excited to the main event. Frankie says, I think and hope AJ will break him down and stop him in late rounds 9-11. I assume he's talking about the Usyk fight, in which case I agree. That's sort of what I expect would happen against Usyk. I don't think Usyk will be able to go the distance so much with AJ. He'll take some big hits. Khan never took a plain old shot. It was always a missile right on the button by Seth. Brutal.
I know. But it kind of led people to think he had a glass chin, didn't it? But I do think that a lot of the shots, I agree, like happened to be worst timing at the worst time for poor old Khan. But it's a skill to not get hit anyway. So in a way, obviously, each to their own. Everyone's born with a different chin, but it would have been a sign of his supreme skill if he was able to avoid getting hit by those missiles, wouldn't it? So in a way, it comes back to the boxer, not just his weaknesses. But yeah, Khan was a real pleasure to watch, and it's a bit unfortunate that he's kind of off boxing now. It seems like he don't know when he's next going to be in the ring. We'll see. Harris says, Joyce, easy win. All right. Let's be real, he says. Yeah, I have a feeling, and we'll discuss, Kev, what we think before the fight starts. But Harris says, when Khan got dropped by Canelo, I instantly started praying for him. That was hard to watch. Yeah, I mean, when Khan got dropped by Canelo, his snot fell out of his nose while he went down. It was savage.
Yeah.
And you know what? Well, we were getting proper hyped. I remember getting proper hyped in the first few rounds because I was like, he's going to do it. Like, he's going to win because it looked like he was outboxing Canelo.
Well, I think Khan was outboxing him. He was punching more, but then Canelo just threw one big shot. But this was a risk for Khan because it's a high weight division.
Yeah. And then, Khan was super, super fast. And Muhammad Aslam says, one of the two big guns, Joshua or Fury, will lose law of probability.
Yeah, well, I mean, Josh has already taken a loss by somebody anyway, which is Ruiz. But yeah, one of them.
Ruiz, yeah. Yeah, I remember us watching. How ridiculous that fight looked. But I mean, obviously, got to hand it to Ruiz. He did, he did a good one, but obviously couldn't make up for it in the rematch. So perhaps suggest it was a fluke. Yeah,
Les Reed says, shout out from Southeast London. Hey, mate, nice to have you on board.
Southside represent. We're from the south, from the dirty south.
Yeah,
South London. Yeah, represent. AV London. Francis hits harder. Oh, okay, referring to probably who hits harder, Francis Ngannou or Deontay Wilder.
Yeah. Yeah, we had that question before. I still think Ngannou.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see those two, as we said. Seth says Khan versus Saunders, maybe. Oh, Khan versus Billy Joe. That would have been interesting. I'm trying to think. Billy Joe.
Khan would have
Billy Joe's naturally middleweight, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
He's naturally middleweight, and then Khan's naturally was a welterweight, although he went up before to fight Canelo, for example. So they could meet at the right weight. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I have a strong feeling that would never happen. But if it did happen, it would be a very interesting fight to see.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they're both like very good boxers, technically very gifted.
Yeah.
Both of them.
And showing the highlights of the Dubois Joyce fight, which we saw earlier this year.
Yeah.
He was just constantly jabbing him, and look, there's no protection by Dubois. Just really, yeah.
Joyce is, he showed himself, for the fight he was when he fought Dubois, because before that I think a lot of people were potentially, well, it was weird, right? Because like it was almost like they hyped Dubois up so much that he became the man, and that was kind of unfair because he really wasn't ready. Well, he was kind of ready for that fight, but maybe it was a fight that was just too soon for him. And Frank Warren obviously pushed him forward. And I remember Joyce's promoter saying, listen, Frank, Dubois is going to lose and he's going to blame you for it because you pushed him in too early. You don't know what you're up against, blah, blah, blah. And obviously that's what happened. Frankie says, thanks, by the way, guys, for tuning in. And we really appreciate you guys tuning into Quality Shot. Do subscribe and like if you can. It really, really helps the channel grow. And helps to grow the community that we're trying to build. Frankie says, what's your guys' thoughts on Billy Joe's performance against Canelo? What do you think, Kev? Did you watch that one? Or
I just felt like Billy Jones was just nowhere near as experienced or as good as Canelo naturally. I felt like he just talked a bit too much to open his mouth. So yeah, that's what I thought. But I thought Canelo was going to beat him anyway.
I remember Fazan and us streaming that one, and we were watching it together. And maybe we were just deluded or something, but we were scoring Billy Joe as potentially winning for the first like half or something like that. And then obviously Billy Joe got injured and decided to retire on his stool because of the injury, and we were like, well, I think he could have continued, and obviously he received so much criticism as a result of him retiring on his stool, because he's always been a guy who said, look, you never quit on your stool, you quit while you're still fighting, like, you know, you get knocked out or you win, basically. He was mentioning how that's how you should approach boxing. Obviously that's not how he ended up approaching his own fight, and so he got a lot of stick for that. So yeah, I thought Billy Joe was good initially. Canelo over time took over the fight and showed his power, and his power was the one that really carried him through. I did think technically Billy was doing well early on in the fight, and I think Fazan and I scored Billy is doing well early on, but you know, Canelo won fair and square, and Billy Joe could have potentially gone on longer but decided to quit earlier, and you know, people can say what they want about him as a result of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he quit, didn't he? He did quit on his stories.
He did, and you know, they said, oh, you know, he's got fractured his eye or something like that. But given what he said in the past, he should have. I know he got a lot of criticism from people, boxing YouTubers and stuff, saying like, listen, you can't criticize other people and then quit yourself.
Yeah,
it's double standards. And by the way, guys, for those of you tuning in, I think we are now approaching the main fight, which is Joe Joyce versus Carlos Takam. It hasn't started yet, but we will let you know when it does.
Yeah, let's start in just a few moments. We'll see. This is what we will be waiting for.
And then Harris asked who would win, Crawford or Spence. It's tough.
Who wins, Joyce or Takam? So we've had this a lot. My money is still... I'm not even sure what I said. Yeah, my money was on Takam actually earlier, so I do still want to say Takam on points probably.
Really? That's so interesting. Okay, nice. I'm glad we both we got a different prediction here. My prediction is Joyce will win.
Yeah, I think it's fair considering Joyce has done well. Like, he's undefeated.
Yeah, I think he'll win. I don't know whether he'll win by like a knockout TKO or point situation. I think Takam is such a hard cookie that he takes a lot of damage before he's really ready to give up, and most of the time the referee will waive it before he ever does anything. He's a really tough fighter, and he showed that when he fought AJ, for example.
Yeah, he did.
So I think Joyce will win. I don't know whether he'll win on points, but if you had to push me to say how he's going to win, I'm going to say that Joyce wins with the late round TKO.
Yes.
That's my prediction. Let us know, guys, what your prediction is. And then Muhammad's prediction was that he's got a feeling that Takam takes Joyce tonight. It's interesting.
Yeah. Bear with me for 1 second. I just got to check.
Yeah, sure. Seth says, imagine the hand speed if those two met up. It would sell big in Britain too. Great talkers looking to prove they aren't what their last fight showed. Yeah, true. F says, who are people backing, Joyce or Takam? F, let us know who you're backing. I have a feeling, Fazana, you said that you're gonna be backing Joyce potentially. But let me know. I forgot. Seth says, Billy and Canelo was a tie at worst. He stays on the bike. That was going to be a close one. He knew his face was broken, but he'd killed Daniel Dubois just months previous. I know. That's the thing. I remember that as well. He absolutely savaged Daniel Dubois. Said, listen, you don't quit on your stool. You don't quit on still. And that's exactly what he ends up doing. So what is this advert? This advert looks absolutely hilarious. This is an advert of Tyson Fury getting knocked out on his own.
What is this?
Because Deontay Wilder's not there, and the language is sometimes your toughest opponents are the ones that you don't see. It's kind of
weird.
I like that advert. It's an interesting advert. Don't fight it alone. 0800 585858. United against suicide. Campaign against living miserably. That's pretty cool.
Tyson Fury had depression and all that. He's contemplating suicide. I know what he means.
I rate that advert. It's a nice advert.
Yeah, it's good to have him on board with that as well because he's been through it.
Yeah, guys, if you ain't feeling good, then make sure you speak to people and try not to bottle it in. Obviously, mental health is a serious topic, and we're not going to go deep into it. But yeah, guys, you're not alone. All right. It's interesting, Seth, that you say that Billy and Canelo was a tie at West. We got a lot of stick, Fazan and I, for thinking that Joe was doing better than other people thought. But we did rate it as quite a close fight. So we're similar to you there. We got a lot of stick though for it. A lot of people were saying, "What are you guys saying?" Canelo was dominating. I don't know. I don't know about that. The chin gets cracked tonight. Takam in the first. Interesting. Edward Beauchamp says Joyce in 5. Thank you, Edward, for your prediction as well. Okay. It's a nice mix of predictions here. I like this because, you know, the best fights are where, you know, it's unsure where it's going to go, and where it's a close one. And Takam's not an easy opponent, you know.
Takam's actually quite strong, even though he's had a few losses against Derek Chisora or AJ. He's still quite strong. He's got a strong chin, so I think it'll be a good test for him.
Yeah, and you know, if you think about it, he's only lost to those people as well, right? Like his only losses are to those people who are well known.
So yeah, I don't know who else he's lost to.
I mean, he's had five losses, and 4 of them at least, which is Chisora, Joshua, Parker, Povetkin. Which is all tough. Sorry, I'm going to stop my cam for a second as well, but do continue, Kev, as we move on to just about starting this main fight.
Yeah, sure. So the commentary's just coming in for the ring walk for both of them. Edward Beauchamp says Joyce in 5. That's a fair prediction. I'd say 5's early, but it's still possible. This is heavyweight. And Carlos Takam is just about to do his ring walk. Takam just getting the Vaseline there. Getting all ready. Takam just walk, he's just getting the Vaseline on.
Yeah. I see they're both in the ring now. Is that right?
No, Joyce is still about to do his walk.
Okay.
So it's just Takam so far.
Seth says good walkout tune. I might turn the sound up a bit on my thing to hear this.
Yeah, might need. I'll let you know.
Oh yeah, I like that. Classic jam.
Yeah.
Takam, I believe, is French.
Here's Joyce. What is he wearing?
Looks a bit like a gladiator.
Wait, hold a second. Let me try being in sync with you, Mo. So let me know where you're at in terms of if I'm in front, I'll pause it for a few seconds.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm currently just seeing Joyce walking.
Okay, yeah. When the
He
thing
looks
starts,
up and down. I'll let you know when we get to the minute mark.
yes,
As in first round, I'll let you know.
yeah. So then we'll just make sure we're in sync.
Yeah, sounds good.
Joyce does look like a gladiator. Yeah, he looks like he's about to go to war in 1700s. Should have his mace with him.
Both looking pretty calm, as expected. Takam gonna throw a Joe Frazier hook from his toes to that Easter Island head. His hood does make him look a bit like a mushroom. What the heck is that hood? That is so Joyce is wearing quite a strange outfit.
Strange
today.
face mask. It's always like Deontay Wilder wearing a mask or something. But
I know. I'm starting to get flashbacks of Deontay wearing something that's too heavy for him.
Yeah, this looks like it's weighing down on his head. I don't know what.
Yeah, it's weighing down on his head. It looks interesting. I mean, obviously his nickname is the Juggernaut, right? And I feel like
upside down plant pot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know what? It's funny and it's so Joe Joyce. Because obviously that's so his personality. He's just a banterous guy. Thanks everyone, by the way, for tuning in again. We really do appreciate it. Do hit that like button. Feel free to comment whatever's on your mind, and do subscribe if you can. It really helped the channel grow. And thanks again for spending some of your evening, if you are in the UK or in Europe generally, with us.
Yeah.
So off goes the metal helmet on Joe Joyce, and
time to put some Vaseline on that face now.
Yeah, I do like the outfit. Interesting outfit. Interesting outfit. And the crowd looks pretty big, which is nice to see. That's the Juggernaut from the comics. Yeah, I had a feeling it might have something to do with that. Yeah, it definitely 100%. It's the Juggernaut from the Marvel comics. It's an interesting attempt at it, but 100%. Yeah, Artemis, you're spot on. Seth says Joyce is massive.
Yeah, he is.
Have you seen Deadpool yet? Yeah, I see it now.
Oh, a few comments coming in now.
Thank you very much, Frankie. I appreciate it.
I wish a watch up Antarctica. Are you sure about that? What time is it there?
That's probably the best way to avoid COVID. So hats off to you. First time on your channel, guys. You guys are a breath of fresh air. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Mohammed. I really appreciate it. That's very, very kind. We're trying our best.
Bizarre who runs the channel, but yes, thank you so much. We're just temporarily covering him. Yeah.
The main runner of this of the channel is Fazan, who you might have seen in some of the other videos on this channel. But we do feature every now and then on boxing. And yeah, do let us know if we can improve in any way and what you guys might be after as well, so we can improve the entertainment for you. So it looks like the anthems are being played right now. getting hyped. I'm getting hyped for this one now. So, for those of you who might want to be reminded of their records, so Takam, 39 fights, 28 KOs, just 5 losses basically for Takam, and his losses come to some very well-known fighters that I'm sure you've heard of, including Chisora, Joshua Parker, and Povetkin. Joyce, 12 fights, of course, not too many compared to Takam, but obviously has a history of boxing prior to his professional boxing career.
Yeah.
11 of his 12 fights are by way of KO, so very high percentage. He is 35. He's a bit on the older side, but he's certainly not, on his way out. He could potentially be in his prime right now.
Yeah.
And his last fight was, of course, against Daniel Dubois.
I'm just going to nip to Lou, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes, so if you bear with me.
Yeah, of course. No worries, man. Edward says, can anyone beat the Gypsy King? I personally don't think so. Fazan probably thinks it's AJ. But I'm a big Tyson Fury guy. Thank you very much, F. I paid for DAZN, but I'm on holiday in Spain and they won't let me access it out of the country. Oh, classic. Classic, it happens. I feel like ExpressVPN could do with an advert here because I feel like that does something. All right, we are off, guys. Round 1 has begun between these two massive heavyweights, Joe Joyce, Carlos Takam. So, as you'd expect, just kind of getting a feel for the fight. These two, starting off with the jabs. Joe Joyce, very heavy jab, it appears. Like he's throwing, and he's throwing them in combinations currently from what I can see. Left jab, right jab. Seems to be quicker right now with how much he's throwing. A lot of it is currently missing, I would say, but he's getting a feel, I assume, for the distance. Now, I have a feeling they're going straight into power punches soon. And there comes an overhand right from Takam. And another overhand right from Takam. But Joe Joyce, as per usual, looks completely unaffected.
So how many minutes? What's your time?
So I'm on 1 minute 42, 41, 40.
I'm exactly the same. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, excellent. Right, fine.
Wait.
So far, they've been trying a few overhands here and there. They started off with some jabs, but I feel like they're going to go into power punches soon. And Joe Joyce looks unaffected by what Takam's throwing right now.
It's much bigger, much more sort of dominating. Look at that size advantage of Joyce.
I see Artemis. Yeah, that's tough. Seth says it'll be over in 2 minutes, dude. It might be.
So who said that?
Both Seth says that. They're both heavy hitters.
Each Joyce is gonna win.
So far, 30 seconds left of the round, and first impressions is what I would have expected from the first round, to be perfectly honest. Both throwing some good shots. Joe Joyce there with a hook and a straight jab, and both of them seem unaffected so far by each other's power. Oh, I feel like Takam caught Joe Joyce on the chin there, and Joe Joyce ate that.
Yeah.
Did you see that? That looked pretty menacing, but Joe Joyce continues to look unaffected by people's power. There's the end of round one. Well, I think I'd just give that 10-10 for now. No one really stood out for me.
Yeah, neither same for me. No one really stood out, but it was still, I don't know, maybe I think Joyce may have had a slight advantage on that fight just there. Just slight advantage.
Artemis says Takam is tough. Yeah. I think they're both tough cookies here, and
yes,
neither of them looked like they were in pain from this, from each other's onslaughts.
Right.
I don't see any cuts or bruises on any of them yet. Both look pretty calm. As F said, feel out round. Yeah, potentially could have been a feel out round. So there's just some slow-mos there of the overhand right from Takam, which did connect. But again, Joe Joyce not really showing any signs of being affected by it.
Yeah. Joe Joyce can eat a lot of punches, as we saw against Dubois as well. He just
I know, it's mad. As Seth says, his head doesn't even move, man. What a chin. I totally agree.
Yeah,
I mean, Joe Joyce is strange.
He's just like a tank that he just speaks everything.
Yeah, it's proper funny. I mean, Takam throwing quite a wild hook there that I think hit the back of Joe Joyce's head, but he seems, again, completely unaffected. They're both swinging pretty wildly, I would say. Again, the more I watch Joe Joyce, the more I just feel like he's quite slow. I can't put my finger on it, but he's relatively slow. And I know it's heavyweight. But I think I remember thinking the same thing when he fought Dubois.
Yeah, I think we both mentioned that as well. But Joyce is very slow. I feel like Joyce is just one of those people, because he can take so many hits so well. He'll just wear his opponent down slowly. 5 huge shots already by Seth, yeah. Takam landed the power, Joyce landed the numbers.
Oh, that was a bit of a weird low blow by Takam, but Takam showing nice head movement there.
It's a good question by F. Can Joyce eat Wilder's power? That's a really good question. I actually don't know. Maybe he can, but remember, I don't know. I feel like Wilder's probably a bit faster than Joyce.
Overhand left by Takam. Joe Joyce missing there. Takam using quite good head movement. Again, I'm impressed by Takam's head movement. Although, by contrast, Joe Joyce does not require head movement because he just eats it. But Takam's doing a good job of using head movement. I feel like Takam's slightly shorter than Joyce as well.
Yeah.
Certainly dipping forward a bit more. Takam, quite a few body shots there, and then one on the an overhand left. More to the body by Takam there. Joe Joyce trying to establish his jab again. Takam going for a body shot. Another a wild swing by Takam as well. I feel like Takam's working more in this round. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Takam is working a bit more.
Oh, another nice
big shot there. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Takam with a lot of overhands, and to be honest, it looked bad for Joyce there. Joyce ate a lot, but again, Joyce is similarly unaffected as you'd imagine he is. I feel like Joyce did not win that round. I would have probably given that round to Takam.
You think?
Yeah, that's my personal view. What do you think, Kev? What do you guys think in the chat?
I want to say Joyce still had that one, but Takam was going for it. But I think they both put a little bit more pressure on each other than the previous round, so it's a bit hard to say.
Love Shack says, has anyone in the heavyweight division got a better chin than Joe Joyce? No.
Probably not.
Probably not. And you know, the danger with Joe Joyce is, yes, he's got an amazing chin.
Yeah.
And yes, it doesn't affect him when he's getting punched this way. At least it doesn't seem to be the case. But it looks bad to the judges. If you go to points, if you ate a bunch of overhands and
Yeah.
uppercuts, that's not going to look good in points terms. So I think Joe Joyce needs to press here, or needs to potentially sharpen up, or end the fight before it gets to points. As Seth says, slow and hittable. Yeah, totally.
So,
and round 3, by the way, guys, just to let you know.
Yes, round 3 started. So let's see what's happening there.
Joyce, stop taking punches.
Yeah. Yeah, although he can eat them, he's still losing in points.
Yeah, Muhammad says Takam needs to go to the body.
Takam looks like, I don't know, he's already starting to fade a little bit.
Seth says how 2 rounds to none. So yeah, back to what's going on with the fight. So Joyce seems to be stepping forward to Takam. Seems to be the aggressor in terms of walk-in terms. I don't see Takam walking Joyce down right now. Joyce is walking to him. Nice jab by Joyce. Tried to follow it up with a second, but missed. Takam again staying low and producing quite good head movement. Doing a good job of trying to slip Joyce's punches. And I feel like it's, well, I was about to say, I feel like it might be a tactic for Takam to just go to the body, but he's done a good job of connecting with the head as well. Ooh, a looping overhand right from Takam there, and a bit of a low blow as well. I feel like that was low.
I think
or maybe on the belt.
Height advantage. Takam is, when he gets into the inside, he does just try to go for it.
Or overhand left as well. Takam's doing a very good job of getting down and then looping upwards with a lot of his overhands, and making use of the fact that he's slightly shorter. I would imagine he's probably got more experience fighting boxers who are taller than him, and has probably utilized that.
Carlos Takam is still putting pressure on Joyce though, like the way he's coming in and throwing some combinations like 1-2s. Someone's asking about tennis.
I think Fazan would know best about that.
Yeah.
My friend, sorry. And that's the end of the 3rd round. Quite a good 3rd round.
Look, Takam does look really hurt already.
Quite a high intensity fight so far, and you do wonder whether we'll go the distance at this stage. We'll have to see. I mean, someone's going to get tired eventually. They can't possibly be continuing at this level of intensity for the entirety of the 12 rounds, right? So
yeah,
I'm not sure what Takam's strategy is. Maybe he's trying to tire Joyce out for as the fight progresses. A lot of body shots, but then it wouldn't really explain all the overhands that he's been throwing as well. Round number 4. This is that right?
Yeah.
I think Takam is just getting his belt adjusted.
Adjusted, like a little kid.
Shortest guy Joe has ever fought.
Yeah,
okay,
probably.
Yeah.
Carlos is short for heavyweight, I'd say.
Artemis says Joyce's nose looks bad, to be honest. You know what? I am starting to get worried for Joyce. I know you predicted Takam potentially to win on points, and wow, he's another overhand, a lot of connections there by Takam, and another overhand left. But Joyce is coming back with quite a few attempts to quite a few kind of low hooks and uppercuts, reestablishing his jab. I feel like Joyce is having some potential issues with dealing with Takam right now. Takam's doing a good job of staying low and following up with hooks and overhands, leaping up.
Joyce is being forced to sort of shuffle around the ring a little bit more than he's used to, I guess.
Seth says 2-1 Takam. I might start scoring from now on as well, given that we're 4th round. So I think it's 2-1 Takam as well, personally. So I'll keep that on mind. See where we go from now on. Artemis says he's taking too many shots. I agree, right, Kev? He's taking. I mean, to be honest, if this was anyone else who didn't have this type of miraculous chin, you'd be getting worried for them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's true. It's because he's got a good chin. He can take this.
This kind of, you got to remember how the Dubois fight ended up, though, right? He was taking damage in the Dubois fight, and then came back.
He just didn't defend the jabs. I just swelled up completely.
Yeah, so that might just be, classic Joe Joyce. Eat them all up. Just keep punching him. Keep landing those heavy hooks and heavy jabs, and just take the damage because you can take it. And eventually, that man's going to start cutting up, potentially.
He's taking way too many shots. Yeah, and then Joyce looking at punching bag.
Yeah, I know. It makes me worried as well, Artemis, because I do want Joyce to win as well, but it just looks like he's taking too much damage.
I feel like Takam's taking quite a lot of damage as well, though. Now
he is, and maybe we're just focusing too much on the eye-catching shots that Takam is landing, with all these overhand right straight down the button as well by Takam. But we're not paying attention as much, perhaps, to all the heavy jabs and the hooks. Again, that round 4 ends, and to be honest with you, I give that to Takam as well.
Yeah.
It's a 3-1 Takam on my scorecard now.
Yeah, Artem said that Takam is using the the Mike Tyson style of ducking and weaving in the punches. That is actually what I was thinking. Because when Mike Tyson fights, he does do those slip into the side shots.
Looks like that.
And
also, Tyson was shorter than everyone as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Frankie said that Takam's going to gas out. Let's see what happens.
That's the thing. Yeah, Frankie, like that might be it. Takam looks tired now. You see him in the corner. He's starting to breathe through his mouth. He looks tired. He looks like he exerted a significant amount of force trying to get Joe Joyce out of there. Ben's scorecard on BT Sport, 38-38. I disagree with that, to be honest, and I'm supporting Joe Joyce. I think Takam's in the lead on the scorecard, but we don't know what the judges are thinking. This might be the point of the fight where Joe Joyce starts taking over because Takam's going to get gassed out.
It's quite tight now. Let's see what happens.
Behind the Nut says Joe Joyce is called the Juggernaut for a reason. This is what he does. Yeah, I agree, and I think if you're not used to his fighting style and you don't realize that his strategy is eat up as much as you can and just keep on going and then deliver the damage, and over time their resistance will be weaker than yours, and you'll be able to take over the fight. Then yeah, that's basically what he does, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fazan says, who do you guys will win given these first few rounds? Oh, who do you think will win given these first few rounds that we've just seen?
No, first I want to say Takam, but now I'm starting to think Joyce, considering that Takam looks already very gassed out. And I think Joyce is going to start taking the next few rounds to the end.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a really wild overhand from Takam. Another overhand from Takam, which does land.
Landed.
Yeah. And I feel like Takam is exerting a significant amount of energy in these first few rounds. Now, because of that, I thought Takam was winning, which I do believe he is on points. But I do think this will not go the full 12 rounds. And if it doesn't go the full 12 rounds, then that's because Joe Joyce is going to going to TKO or KO Takam because Takam's going to gas out. That's my view. Artemis has it 2-2. I have it 3-1 Takam for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd say it's 2-2 actually. I'd say these last 2 runs, that Joyce won. First 2 was Takam. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Seth says 3-1. I assume to Takam, which is where I am as well.
Yeah. Seth said that Joyce has an incredible gas tank, and he does. He doesn't really look gassed out even after throwing a lot of hits.
Yeah.
Takam does actually give a lot of pressure. I saw that in the Joshua fight that he gave Joshua quite a bit of pressure, even though he threw like an illegal headbutt at him as well.
Takam is still landing. He's gone to the body a bit there, or left right hook to the body, going upstairs again afterwards. He still looks fresh, Takam, to be honest. Again, I personally believe that was.
He looks gassed out.
I kind of think that's 4-1 Takam. To be honest, I'd give that to Takam, but I feel like it's going to go the other way around. From now on.
You saw the way he sat down, arms up. He just looks like absolutely arms on the rope.
Artem says, but still, Joyce is an unknown quantity. I don't know how far he can go. This is his hardest test. It's true. This is his hardest test. I mean, his previous fight was Dubois, which is not. I mean, Dubois, I think, would have gotten ravaged by Takam because he's too young and inexperienced to go in the ring with Takam. But maybe that's just me. Joe has an incredible gas tank, always has. Yeah, and I think we're about to see it now. I think the fight's going to turn its head. Round number 6, and already Takam falling backwards. Joyce is going for his absolutely barraging Takam with a bunch of punches now. Punches in absolute bunches. Seems like Joyce smelt blood. And Joyce is walking down Takam. Takam is wobbling. He's eating a bunch of overhands. Overhand right, overhand left. A few to the body, overhand left.
Joyce
strong jab. Looks like Takam potentially getting back on his feet, but the crowd, I'm sure, is going absolutely wild. Continuous punching from Joyce. Referee looking very closely.
Yeah,
very, very closely to see if he needs to wave this off.
We've seen that Takam needs to fight, otherwise
Takam is not punching back, tying up, and he's ended it. He is ended.
Oh, and Takam's still complaining.
Waved the fight. To be perfectly honest, it might have been premature because Takam looks pissed off, but I have a feeling he would have gone down eventually. I mean, he was not throwing punches. Joe Joyce has won this fight against Carlos Takam by TKO. The referee has called off the fight. He has sustained significant damage from Joyce's barrage of punches. Joyce smelt blood as soon as he saw Takam wobble backwards. He went for the kill and he threw punches in bunches.
6 or 7 round.
Oh, you're doing the banner.
Yeah.
I believe that was the
6th.
I have a feeling that was the 6th round because I think I was scoring it like 4-1 or something. So that must have been the 6th.
Yeah.
So that is it. Pretty mad. Harris says was premature, not even on the ropes. Guys, what do you think of the stoppage? Do you think it was appropriate? To be honest, Joyce went absolutely mad as soon as he saw Takam move back. As soon as he saw Takam stumble, he went for the kill. And I could see the referee looking closely, and you could tell the referee was looking to stop it.
Yeah, I think that was a fair. No, I think that was a fair.
But you see how angry Takam was from that stoppage.
Look at that.
I told you. No 8 counts, says Seth. Yeah, I mean, Takam looks absolutely pissed off at that stoppage.
No, I think that's fair.
Now you do remember Takam lost to AJ through stoppage as well,
That was
and
sure, but this one was not. The way he just took a load of hits. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, Artem says Takam did look like he was going to get KO'd. I agree with that. I do think if the fight went on, Takam was heading onto the canvas. I do believe that, and maybe the referee thought, look, this is this is going only one way. Let's just stop it now. Try and obviously their job is to try and protect fighters' safety as well. But Takam did not look happy with that stoppage. Now, as a lot of you were predicting, Joe the Juggernaut Joyce using his granite chin to make it through several rounds before going for the kill and tiring out his opponent. It seems like that's his tactic, right, Kev?
Yeah, I think that was his tactic. Joyce looks fine. It doesn't even look hurt or anything like that. Again, he still looks so he still looks like he's ready to go another 12 rounds.
Yeah, he looks relaxed. Fazan is not happy. Takam got an early count against AJ too. Come on, what the heck? I agree. I do think it was potentially a bit early, and I do remember the AJ fight, and he got a lot of benefit of the doubt in the AJ fight. So I do wonder why, in this fight, the ref decided to end it so soon, right? I mean, you can see how pissed off Takam looks.
I still think it was a fair stoppage, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I just think Carlos was taking a lot of hits without throwing back, and then the moment, I guess, I think the referee was talking to Carlos a couple of times, saying, you need to fight back, otherwise I'm stopping it.
Yeah, and to be honest, Carlos was just wrapping up and taking loads of damage and didn't throw back, did he? And you did think, well, you do need to throw back in those situations. Yes. You do need to throw back. Moran Edwards said in 5, not too bad. Fazan is still not happy with this. Thanks, by the way, guys, for tuning in. I mean, for those of you who might just be tuning in and don't know what has happened, Joe Joyce, as it's said on the banner at the below of our live stream, defeats Carlos Takam by TKO in round number 6. After what was, to be honest, in my view, on points, Takam doing quite well, but obviously didn't affect Joe Joyce. Just keeps rolling with the punches. The Juggernaut is real. Good stoppage, says Frankie.
Artem is saying that the man Takam didn't throw back. It looks like Takam bet against himself.
Yeah, I mean, unreal chin and gas tank. Unreal, says Seth. Yeah, to be honest, like, I do wonder. I've never really seen Joe Joyce properly knocked back or like properly like troubled, and you do wonder what are the limits of his chin. So well done to Joe Joyce. He's now the mandatory challenger for Usyk versus Joshua. So we are likely to be overseeing Joshua or Usyk versus Joe Joyce. Excellent matchups, both of them, regardless of which one it is. So that will be a super interesting fight to watch. Artemis Logic, honestly, the amount Takam didn't throw back, it looked like he had a bet on himself. I called it before the stoppage. Oh yeah, as you said, yeah. F says Joyce probs still wins. As last 6 he comes on strong. Yeah, I agree. If it went the distance, I feel like Joyce would have taken over.
Yeah.
Seth says, give him 8 and have a good look at him. Good win for Joe, though. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having us, Seth. Really appreciate it. And, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Perhaps could have done a standing 8 count. I don't know if that's acceptable in this in the UK boxing commission, but I'm pretty sure they can do a standing 8.
Look at that wobble by Takam. That was why Joyce kind of went for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
look at the barrage of punches he just took after that.
He saw the wobble and went in for the kill. And enjoy UFC, Seth. We are I don't know. It's 11:30 here in the UK, and we're probably soon gonna maybe hit the bed or do something else shortly. But UFC is a good one, and maybe we should expand to UFC one day on the Quality Shot.
Yeah.
Artemis Same. Takam fell off in the Chisora fight. I think Joyce would have won eventually. Yeah, I think he would have run out of steam. He did a good job. Like in the first few rounds, you could definitely Takam was, as we were saying ourselves, he was doing very well.
Yeah.
But he was losing his energy over time. He was exerting a lot of force. It wasn't paying dividends because Joyce didn't seem to be affected. And then you could see the barrage of punches that Joyce is capable of actually delivering when he does want to get someone out. Yeah. Thank you, Fazan. Appreciate it.
Join in.
Thanks very much, Les. Really appreciate it. I hope to see you again. Hope to see you all again soon. Any final thoughts, Kev?
Just a great fight. Yeah, I got my prediction wrong. You got it right. Well played. But yeah, it's interesting to see what happens to Joe Joyce from here.
Yes, yeah, same. I look forward to seeing Joe Joyce versus Usyk or Joshua, depending upon who wins that fight. And I'm sure we will be here on Quality Shot, ready to stream that fight when the time does come, either in our own separate homes or together as a full-on watch along with everyone in front of the TV. But thanks everyone again for tuning in. We'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe for any future videos. Again, thank you very much for spending your evening with us, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.
Cool. Cheers. Bye, everyone.